to do Sir Thomas's More soliloquy, which people are going to believe is by Shakespeare, and then we're going to start at the beginning and read the whole play. So if you just want to stick around for the Shakespeare bits, we can just. Oh, I think that sounded like someone leaving. But
well, I can.
He's left.
I can take on another part if it's small, like perhaps
Okay.
it's at the end of the scene.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where we're at after that, and I guess he wasn't. Okay.
I have to say,
Let's introduce ourselves and get started.
Oh, okay.
Wait. What did you have? I'm sorry. Angus.
No. Just a comment on the gender switching business. That was all. Nothing relevant to this.
Let's introduce ourselves and get started.
Yep.
Paul.
Okay, I'm Paul Sugarman, and I am going to be the clown in this and other roles.
Ken Wayne, I'm Lincoln.
Jennifer.
Jennifer Finger, George Betts.
And Angus.
Angus Hepburn, reading Thomas More for this, and he's not in this particular scene, but he will be in the next, hopefully Shakespearean scene.
But you'll be playing whatever other scene you need to jump
Oh, yeah.
Whatever parts you jump into.
But he does come into the scene.
What?
He isn't in the beginning, but he does come into the scene because this is his great speech. So.
Okay, I'm Eleanor Elizabeth Foreman, and I'm the playmaster, and I will be jumping in as needed.
So, Eleanor, should I read the stage directions? Or,
yes, please.
Okay. This is from the Sir Thomas More, a play. These are the extracts that are known as by hand D, which we believe is Shakespeare. Act 2, Scene 4.
You might as well mention the other playwrights that we know were in it.
Yes, well, we also know it was Anthony Mundy, Henry Chettle, and others because Shakespeare was like hand D. So there were at least 4 or 5. I think there were actually like 5 or 6. I don't recall who were all.
Was this one where they tried to put a play together?
Yeah, well, this was very interesting in that they tried to write a play about Sir Thomas More and have it produced under Elizabeth. I mean, whose father had Thomas More put to death,
Yeah.
So, I mean, in a way, it was sort of like, what were they thinking that it would ever be approved? Because it was never approved, and it was just this manuscript that was found. And in the manuscript, there was a whole section that was in one hand, and that people believe was Shakespeare. I mean, they said sort of like they matched his handwriting to it, but I don't really believe that because we don't really have any real strong samples of his handwriting. But I think if you listen to these scenes, and in particular Moore's speech about the immigrants, I mean, it does sound like Shakespeare to me. And so
there's also another, there was another hand that was identified as that of a clerk, a copyist. And some of that work might also have been his, we do not know. Let's get started.
Okay, so yes, anyways, Act 2, Scene 4, St. Martin's Gate. Enter Lincoln, Doll, Clown, George Betts, Williamson, others, and a sergeant at arms.
Peace, hear me. He that will not see a red herring at a Harry groat, butter at 11 pence a pound, meal at 9 shillings a bushel, and beef at 4 nobles a stone, list to me.
We'll come to that pass if strangers be suffered. Mark him.
Our country is a great eating country. Ergo, they eat more in our country than they do in their own.
By a halfpenny loaf a day, Troy weight.
They bring in strange roots, which is merely to the undoing of poor prentices. For what's a sorry parsnip to a good heart?
Trash, they breed sore eyes, and 'tis enough to infect the city with the palsy.
Nay, it has infected it with the palsy, for these bastards of dung, as you know they grow in dung, have infected us, and it is our infection will make the city shake, which partly comes through the eating of parsnips.
True, and pumpkins together.
What say ye to the mercy of the king? Do ye refuse it?
You would have us upon this, would you? No, Mary, do we not. We accept of the king's mercy, but we will show no mercy upon the strangers.
You're the simplest things that ever stood in such a question.
How say ye now, princesses? Princesses simple, down with him.
Prentice
This
simple.
is simple. Prentice is simple.
And to the Lord Mayor, Surrey, Shrewsbury, Moore.
Hold! In the king's name, hold!
Friends, masters, countrymen.
Peace! Ho! Peace! I charge you, keep the peace.
My masters, countrymen.
The noble Earl of Shrewsbury, let's hear him.
We'll hear the Earl of Surrey.
The Earl of Shrewsbury.
We'll hear both.
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 Peace, I say peace. Are you men of wisdom, or what are you?
What will you have them, but not men of wisdom?
Will not hear my lord of Surrey.
No.
Shrewsbury. Whiles they are o'er the bank of their obedience, thus will they bear down all things.
Sheriff Moore speaks. Shall we hear Sheriff Moore speak?
Let's hear him. It keeps a plentiful chivalry. And have made my brother Arthur Watchen's Syrian safe yeoman. Let's hear Shrevemore.
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 Even by the rule you have among yourselves, command still audience.
Surrey.
More.
Silence, peace.
Peace. Silence. Peace.
You that have voice and credit with the number, command them to a stillness.
A plague on them, they will not hold their peace. The duel cannot rule them.
And then what a rough and riotous charge have you to lead those that the duel cannot rule? Good masters, hear me speak.
Aye, by the mass will we. More thou art a good housekeeper, and I thank thy good worship for my brother Arthur Watchens.
Peace.
Look, what do you offend, you cry upon? That is the peace. Not one of you here present had there such fellows lived when you were babes that could have topped the peace as now you would. The peace wherein you have till now grown up had been ta'en from you, and the bloody times could not have brought you to the state of men. Alas, poor things, what is it you have got, although we grant you get the thing you seek?
Marry, the removing of the strangers, which cannot choose but much advantage the poor handicrafts of the city.
Grant them removed, and grant that this your noise hath chid down all the majesty of England. Imagine that you see the wretched beggars, strangers, their babies at their backs and their poor luggage plodding to the ports and costs for transportation, and that you sit as kings in your desires, authority quite silent by your brawl, and you in ruff of your opinions clothed. What had you got? I'll tell you. You had taught how insolence and strong hand should prevail, how order should be quelled. And by this pattern, not one of you should live an aged man. For other ruffians, as their fancies wrought with self-same hand, self-reasons and self-right, would shark on you, and men like ravenous fishes would feed on one another.
Before God, that's as true as the gospel.
Nay, this is a sound fellow, I tell you. Let's mark him.
Look, let me set up before your thoughts, good friends, on supposition, which if you will mark, you shall perceive how horrible a shape your innovation bears. First, 'tis a sin which oft the apostle did forewarn us of, urging obedience to authority. And 'twere no error if I told you all you were in arms against your God himself.
Marry, God forbid that.
Nay, certainly you are. For to the king God hath his office lent, of dread, of justice, power, and command, hath bid him rule, and willed you to obey. And to add ampler majesty to this, he hath not only lent the king his figure, his throne and sword, but given him his own name, calls him a god on earth. What do you then, rising against him that God himself installs, but rise against God? What do you to your souls in doing this? Desperate as you are, wash your foul minds with tears, and those same hands that you like rebels lift against the peace, lift up for peace. And your unreverent knees, make them your feet to kneel to be forgiven. Tell me about this. What rebel captain, as mutinies are incident, by his name can still the rout? Who will obey a traitor? Or how can well that proclamation sound when there is no addition but a rebel to qualify a rebel? You'll put down strangers, kill them, cut their throats, possess their houses, and lead the majesty of law in line to slip him like a hound. Say now the king, as he is clement if the offender mourn, should so much come to short of your great trespass as but to banish you, where would you go? What country, by the nature of your error, should give you harbour? Go you to France or Flanders? To any German province, to Spain or Portugal? Nay, anywhere that not adheres to England. Why, you must needs be strangers. Would you be pleased to find a nation of such barbarous temper that, breaking out in hideous violence, would not afford you an abode on earth? Whet their detested knives against your throats, spurn you like dogs, and like as if that God owed not nor made not you, nor that the claimants were not all appropriate to your comforts, but chartered unto them? What would you think? To be thus used. This is the stranger's case, and this your mountainish inhumanity.
Faith,
Faith
says
says
true.
true.
Let's do as we may be
Done
done.
to.
We'll be ruled by you, Master Moore, if you'll stand our friend to procure our pardon.
Submit you to these noble gentlemen. Entreat their mediation to the king. Give up yourself to form. Obey the magistrate. There is no doubt but mercy may be found if you so seek. To persist in it is present death. But if you yield yourselves, no doubt what punishment you in simplicity have incurred, His Highness in mercy will most graciously pardon.
We yield.
Yield.
And
Desire
And
desire
desire His
His
Highness's
Highness's
mercy.
lay by their weapons.
No doubt His Majesty will grant it you. But you must yield to go to several prisons till that His Highness will be further known.
Most
Most
willingly.
willingly, whether you will have
Have
Most
us.
willingly.
Lord Mayor, let them be sent to several prisons, and there in any case be well entreated. My Lord of Surrey, please you to take horse and ride to Cheapside, where the aldermen are with their several companies in arms. Will them to go unto their several wards, both for the stay of first mutiny, and for the apprehending of such persons as shall contend.
I go, my noble lord. Exit Surrey.
Will go straight to tell His Highness this good news. Withal, Shrevemore, I'll tell him how your breath hath ransomed many a subject from sad death.
Exit Shrewsbury and Cholmondeley. Lord Mayor. Lincoln and Sherwin, you shall both go to Newgate, the rest unto the counters.
Go guard them hence, a little breath well spent cheats expectation in his fairest event. Well, Sheriff Moore, thou hast done more with thy good words than all they could with their weapons. Give me thy hand. Keep thy promise now for the king's pardon, or by the Lord, I'll call thee a plain coney catcher.
Farewell, Shrevemore. And as we yield by thee, so make our peace, then thou dealest honestly.
Aye, and save us from the gallows, else a devil's double honesty. They are led away.
Master Shrevemore, you have preserved the city from a most dangerous, fierce commotion. For if this limb of riot here in St. Martin's had joined with other branches of the city that did begin to kindle, 'twould have bred great rage. That rage much murder would have fed. Not steel, but eloquence hath wrought this good. You have redeemed us from much threatened blood.
My lord and brethren, what I here have spoke, my country's love, and next the city's care enjoined to me, which since it doth prevail, thank God hath made me weak more his instrument, to thwart sedition's violent intent. I think 'twere best, my lords, some 2 hours hence we meet at the Guildhall, and there determine that through every ward the watch be clad in armour, but especially proud that at the city gates selected men, substantial citizens, do ward tonight for fear of further mischief.
It shall be so. But yon methinks, my lord of Shrewsbury.
Enter Shrewsbury. My lord, his majesty sends loving thanks to you, your brethren, and his faithful subjects, your careful citizens. But, Master Moore, to you a rougher yet as kind a salutation, a knight's creation in this knightly steel. Rise up, Sir Thomas More.
I thank his highness for thus honouring me.
This is but first taste of his princely favor, for it hath pleased his high majesty, noting your wisdom and deserving merit, to put this staff of honor in your hand, for he hath chose you of his privy council.
My lord, for to deny my sovereign's bounty were to drop precious stones into the heaps whence they first came. To urge my imperfections in excuse were all as stale as custom. No, my lord, my service is my king's. Good reason why, since life or death hangs on our sovereign's eye.
His majesty hath honoured much the city in this his princely choice.
My lord and brethren, though I depart for court, my love shall rest with you as heretofore a faithful guest. I now must sleep in court. Sound sleeps forbear. The chamberlain to state is public care. Yet in this rising of my private blood, my studious thoughts shall tend the city's good.
Enter Crofts. How now, Crofts? What news?
My lord, his highness sends express command that a record be entered of this riot, and that the chief and capital offenders be thereon straight arraigned, for himself intends to sit in person on the rest tomorrow at Westminster.
Lord Mayor, you hear your charge. Come, good Sir Thomas More, to court let's hie. You are the appeaser of this mutiny.
My lord, farewell. New days begets new tides. Life wills but fate, then to a grave it slides.
Exeunt severally. So there's what's handy is this scene and then the speech on page 49, which is Moore's soliloquy, where he makes a pun on his name, which seems to me very Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Okay, let us all stop our videos, except Sir Thomas.
Oh, God.
Wait, Ken? Yeah, good.
Doing cold readings on this stuff is hard work. It is in heaven that I am thus and thus, and that which we profanely term our fortunes is the provision of the power above, fitted and shaped just to that strength of nature which we are born withal. Good God, that I from such an humble bench of birth should step as 'twere up to my country's head and give the law out there. I, in my father's life, to take prerogative and tithe of needs from elder kinsmen, and him bind by my place to give the smooth and dexter way to me that owe it him by nature. Sure, these things, not physicked by respect, might turn our blood to much corruption, but the more thou hast, either of office, honour, wealth, and calling, which might excite thee to embrace and hub them, the more do thou in spirits natures think them. Fear their gay skins with thought of their sharp state, and let this be thy maxim. To be great is when the thread of heyday is once spun, a great bottom, great wound, up great undone. Come on, sir, are you ready?
And that is what we believe is by Handy, or that there were other things that were done by a copyist that might also be by Shakespeare. So I see we still have our same crew, people. So we'll do this. There's we'll
Now we will start from the beginning of the play.
What's that comment? Serpents?
Yes, you said spirits instead of serpents.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yes, it's serpents. Well, as I say, cold reading this stuff is not, it's not the easiest job.
You'll have a second chance to.
Good, I'll get it right next time. I hope.
Right.
Maybe.
So do we want to go anything and assign any additional roles, or just sort of dive in, and as people hear someone else speaking and then someone else comes in, they step in as I think.
I'm Doll.
Yeah, so Doll.
Who would like to be Bard? Let's see. We had where's Jennifer?
No, Jennifer's here. She just stopped her video.
She is.
I'm here.
Okay. Let's see. Who was Williamson?
I jumped in on that, I think, because it was a one line and nobody was assigned it.
Okay. We've got Barda, and we've got Cavalier and Williamson and Sherwin and Lincoln.
Let me get back to the beginning.
Yes, we had a Lincoln before, didn't we?
That was Kenneth, I think.
Yeah, Ken was Lincoln.
Okay, so and we had a clown.
That was me. So yeah.
No, clown is George's brother, but you do we have a George?
Yeah, Jennifer was George, right?
Okay.
Yes.
So we've got 5 of us doing about 40 roles.
Yeah, so we'll just sort of.
Nothing like that many.
We're back to Timon of Athens in the Applause bookstore, except we've got no audience we can call in this time.
Yeah. Well, Timon, did we have 5? I thought we had 7 for Timon.
Did we? I know we had to pull in a couple of people from the audience to read.
There were a few of the first year where we did actually have 5. Yeah, I think maybe we had 5 and we got a few other people in, but that was a really good reading, actually. I remember your Timon, and
I loved it. It opened my eyes to Timon.
Does everybody else have a part?
Several.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. And we'll just go it as we go along. I'll start writing down. I'll try and write down in the comment. I'll do the stage directions and write down in the commentary as we can.
So I'll just hold on to Williamson then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And people, I will be jumping in, and everybody else will be jumping in as well. Let's introduce ourselves one more time at the top of the show.
Okay.
Oh, also, just one other thing, Eleanor, just for that scene, I sort of switched over to sort of doing it in speaker view, and I leave it up to the playmaster as to whether we do it in speaker view or gallery view. I know Derek had chosen speaker view for the Much Ado About Nothing, and just was wondering if you had a preference.
Let's do it in speaker view.
Okay. We'll see.
I mean, they're not, unless you have a strong feeling about it, because I'm going to.
I sort of like gallery view. You can see everybody, and it's not jumping back and forward, But never mind. You do what you need.
Well,
okay.
I'm open to the argument that gallery view, because these are crowd scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you think that it could be gallery view, then make it so.
All right. And so
have you made me co-host?
Oh, I don't believe I have. I don't see we've got any other attendees to promote, but I am making you co-host now. So
I like being gallery view anyway, because it means I'm only about 1.5 inches high instead of 8 inches high, which staring at myself that large is not a comfortable experience.
I'm going to take one moment while we are chatting to check and see if anybody else. I see another name, so maybe I can get somebody new. Oh, I thought this was going to be a person joining us. I'm just looking quickly to see if there are any more people that I can
Just us five.
text a.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's watching on YouTube and they'd like to join. Go to our Facebook page and click and get in as an attendee, and then you can read some roles as we will.
Yes,
It's fun.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I think we had better get started.
All
Right.
right then.
We were going to everyone introduce yourself one more time.
Okay, I'm Paul Sugarman. I'm the founder of Instant Shakespeare Company. I'll be reading the stage directions, Clown, Shrewsbury, and various other parts.
I'm Eleanor Elizabeth Foreman. I'm the playmaster for this show. I'm going to be playing Doll, and I'll be jumping in as needs be. Angus?
Angus Hepburn reading Sir Thomas More, Williamson the carpenter, Doll's husband, and whatever else is necessary.
Kenneth?
Ken Wayne, I'm doing Lincoln and perhaps a few other small parts.
And Jennifer?
Jennifer Finger. I'm doing Francis DeBard and other parts as required.
Okay. Act 1, Scene 1.
Act 1, Scene 1, London, a street. Enter at one end John Lincoln with the two Bettises together. At the other end enter Francis DeBard and Doll, a lusty woman, he hailing her by the arm.
Whither wilt thou hail me?
Whether I please, thou art my prize, and I plead purchase of thee.
Purchase of me? Away, ye rascal! I'm an honest, plain carpenter's wife, and though I have no beauty to like a husband, yet whatsoever is mine scorns to scoop to a stranger. Hand off then when I bid thee.
Go with me quietly, or I'll compel thee.
Compel me, ye dog's face. Thou think'st thou hast the goldsmith's wife in hand, whom thou enticest from her husband with all his plate, and when thou turnst her home to him again, madest him like an ass pay for his wife's board.
So I make thy husband too, if please me.
Enter Cavalier with a pair of doves, Williamson the carpenter, and Sherwin following him.
Here he comes himself. Tell him so if thou darest.
Follow me no further, I say thou shalt not have them.
I bought them in Cheapside and paid my money for them.
You did, sir, indeed, and you offer him wrong, both to take them from him and not restore him his money neither.
If he paid for them, let it suffice that I possess them. Beef and brews may serve such hinds. Are pigeons meat for a coarse carpenter?
It is hard when an Englishman's patience must be thus jetted on by strangers, and they not dare to revenge their own wrongs.
Lincoln, let's beat them down and bear no more of these abuses.
We may not bet. Be patient and hear more.
Now, here now, husband. What, one stranger take their food from thee, and another thy wife? By Our Lady flesh and blood, I think can hardly brook that.
Will this gear never be otherwise? Must these wrongs be thus endured?
Let us step in and help to avenge their injury. What art thou that talkest of revenge? My lord ambassador shall once more make your major have a check if he punish thee for this saucy presumption.
Indeed, my Lord Mayor, on the ambassador's complaint, sent me to Newgate one day because against my will I took the wall of a stranger. You may do anything. The goldsmith's wife and mine now must be at your commandment.
The more patient fools are you both to suffer it. Suffer it! Mend it thou or he, if you can or dare. I tell thee, fellows, and she were the mayor of London's wife, had I her once in my possession, I would keep her in spite of him that durst say nay. I tell thee, Lombard, these words should cost thy best cape were I not curbed by duty and obedience. The mayor of London's wife. Oh God, shall it be thus?
Why, Bets, am I not as dear to my husband as my Lord Mayor's wife to him? And wilt thou so neglectly suffer thine own shame? Hands off, proud stranger, or by him that bought me, if men's milky hearts dare not strike a stranger, yet women beat them down ere they bear these abuses.
Mistress, I say you shall along with me.
Touch not Doll Williamson, lest she lay thee along the God's dear earth. And you, sir, that allow such coarse cates to carpenters, whilst pigeons, which they pay for, must serve your dainty appetite, deliver them back to my husband again, or I'll call so many women to mine assistance as will not leave 1 inch untorn of thee. If our husbands must be bridled by law and forced to bear your wrongs, their wives will be a little lawless and soundly beat ye.
Come away, Debard, and let us go complain to my Lord Ambassador. Exit.
Go and send him among us, and we'll give him his welcome too. I'm ashamed that free-born Englishmen, having beaten strangers within their own homes, should thus be braved and abused by them at home.
It is not our lack of courage in the cause, but the strict obedience that we are bound to. I am the goldsmith whose wrongs you talked of, but how to redress yours or mine own is a matter beyond our abilities.
Not so, not so, my good friends. I, though a mean man, a broker by profession and named John Lincoln, have long time winked at these wild enormities with mighty impatience. And as these two brethren here, Betts by name, can witness, with loss of mine own life would gladly remedy them.
And he is in a good forwardness, I tell ye, if all hit right.
As how, I prithee? Tell it to Doll Williamson.
You know the Spittle sermons begin the next week. I have drawn a bill of our wrongs and the stranger's insolences.
Which he means the preacher shall there openly publish in the pulpit.
Oh, but they would. I faith it would tickle our strangers thoroughly.
Aye, and if you men durst not undertake it, before God, we women would take an honest woman from her husband. Why, it is intolerable.
But how find ye the preachers affected to our proceeding?
Master Dr. Standish hath answered that it becomes not him to move any such thing in his sermon, and tells us we must move the mayor and aldermen to reform it, and doubts not but happy success will ensue on statement of our wrongs. You shall perceive there's no hurt in the bill. There's a couple of it. I pray ye hear it.
With all our hearts. For God's sake, read it.
For God's sake, read it.
To you all, the worshipful lords and masters of this city that will take compassion over the poor people, your neighbors, and also of the great importable hurts, kisses, losses, and hindrances, whereof proceedeth extreme poverty to all the king's subjects that inhabit within this city and suburbs of the same. For so it is that aliens and strangers eat the bread from the fatherless children, and take the living from all the artificers, and the intercourse from all the merchants, whereby poverty is so much increased that every man bewaileth the misery of other, for craftsmen be brought to beggary, and merchants to neediness. Wherefore the premise is considered, the redress must be of the common knit and united to one part. And as the hurt and damage grieveth all men, so must all men see to their willing power for remedy, and not suffer the said aliens in their wealth and the natural born men of this region to come to confusion.
For God, 'tis excellent, and I'll maintain the suit, to be honest.
Well, state is read. What is your further meaning in the matter?
What? Mary, list to me. No doubt, but this will store us with friends now whose names we will closely keep in writing. And on May Day next in the morning, we'll go forth a Maying, but make it the worst May Day for the strangers that ever they saw. How say ye? Do ye subscribe, or are you faint-hearted revolters?
Hold thee, George Betts. There's my hand and my heart. By the Lord, I'll make a captain among ye, and do somewhat to be talked of for ever after.
My masters, ere we part, let's friendly go and drink together, and swear true secrecy upon our lives.
There spake an angel. Come, let us along then.
Exeunt, Act 1, Scene 2, London, the Sessions House. An arras is drawn, and behind it, as in session, sit the Lord Mayor, Justice Shrewsbury, and other justices, Sheriff Moore, and the other sheriff sitting by. Smart is the plaintiff, Lifter the prisoner at the bar, Recorder, officers.
Having dispatched our weightier businesses, we may give ear to petty felonies. Master Sheriff Moore, what is this fellow?
My lord, he stands indicted for a purse. He hath been tried. The jury is together.
Who sent him in?
That did I, my lord. Had he had right, he had been hanged ere this, the only captain of the cut-purse crew.
What is his name?
As his profession is lifter, my lord, one that can lift a purse right cunningly.
And is that he accuses him?
The same, my lord, whom, by your honor's leave, I must say somewhat too, because I find in some respects he is well worthy blame.
Good Master Justice Shoresby, speak your mind. We are well pleased to give you audience.
Hear me. Smart, thou art a foolish fellow. If Lifter be convicted by the law, as I see not how the jury can acquit him, I'll stand to it thou art guilty of his death.
My lord, that's worthy of the hearing.
Listen then, good Master Moore.
I tell thee plain, it's a shame for thee, with such a sum to tempt necessity. No less than £10, sir, will serve your turn, to carry in your purse about with ye, to crake and break in taverns of your money. I promise ye, a man that goes abroad with an intent of truth, meeting such a booty, may be provoked to that he never meant. What makes so many pilferers and felons but such fond baits that foolish people lay to tempt the needy, miserable wretch? £10, odd money! This is a pretty sum to bear about, which were more safe at home. 'Fore God, 'twere well to fine ye as much more. Lord Mayor and Moore whisper, to the relief of the poor prisoners, to teach you to be more careful of your own. In sooth, I say, you were but rightly served, if ye had lost as much as twice £10.
Good my lord, sooth a point or two for once, only to try conclusions in this case.
Comment, good Master Moore, will rise a while, and till the jury can return their verdict, walk in the garden. How say ye, justices?
We like you well, my lord. We'll follow ye.
Exit Lord Mayor and justices.
Nay, plaintiff, go you too, and officers. Stand you aside and leave the prisoner to me a while. Lifter, come hither.
What is your worship's pleasure?
Sirrah, you know that you are known to me, and I have often saved you from this place since first I came in office. Thou seest besides that Justice Shrewsbury is thy heavy friend, by all the blame that he pretends to Smart for tempting thee with such a sum of money. I tell thee what, devise me but a means to pick or cut his purse, and on my credit, as I am a Christian and a man, I will procure thy pardon for that jest.
Good Master Shreve, seek not my overthrow. You know, sir, I have many heavy friends, and more indictments like to come upon me. You are too deep for me to deal with all. You are known to be one of the wisest men that is in England. I pray thee, Master Sheriff, go not about to undermine my life.
Lifter, I am true subject to my king. Thou much mistake me, and, for thou shalt not think I mean by this to hurt thy life at all, I will maintain the act when thou hast done it. Thou know'st there are such matters in my hands, as if I pleased to give them to the jury, I should not need this way to circumvent thee. All that I aim at is a merry jest. Perform it, Lifter, and expect my best.
I thank your worship. God preserve your life. But Master Justice Shoresby has gone in. I know not how to come there where he is.
Let me alone for that. I'll be thy setter. I'll send him hither to thee presently under the colour of thine own request of private matters to acquaint him with.
If you do, sir, then let me alone. 40-1, but then his purse is gone.
Well said. But see that thou diminish not one penny of the money, but give it me. It is the cunning act that credits thee.
I will, good Master Sheriff, I assure ye.
Exeunt more.
I see the purpose of this gentleman is but to check the folly of the justice for blaming others in a desperate case, wherein himself may fall as soon as any. To save my life, it is a good adventure. Silence their hope. Now that's the Justice Center.
Enter Justice Shoresby. Now, sirrah, now what is your will with me? Wilt thou discharge thy conscience like an honest man? What sayest to me, sirrah? Be brief, be brief.
As brief, sir, as I can. If you stand fair, I will be brief anon.
Speak out and mumble not. What sayest thou, sirrah?
Sir, I am charged as God shall be my comfort with more than's true.
Sir, ye are indeed with more than's true, for you are flatly charged with felony. You're charged with more than truth, and that is theft. More than a true man should be charged withal. Thou art a varlet. That's no more than true. Trifle not with me. Do not, sirrah. Confess but what thou knowest. I ask no more.
There be, sir, there be, if it shall please your worship.
There be, varlet? What be there? Tell me what there be. Come off on. There be. What be there, knave?
There be, sir, divers very cunning fellows, that, while you stand and look them in the face, will have your purse.
Thou art an honest knave. Tell me, what are they? Where they may be caught? Aye, those are they I look for.
You talk of me, sir. Alas, I am a puny. There's one indeed goes by my name. He puts down all for purses. He'll steal your worship's purse under your nose.
Art thou so sure, varlet? Well, be as familiar as thou wilt, my knave. 'Tis this I long to know.
And you shall have your longing ere you go. This fellow, sir, perhaps will meet you thus, or thus, or thus, and in kind compliment pretend acquaintance, somewhat doubtfully, and these embraces stir.
Ay, Mary, Lifter, wherefore serve they? Shrugging gladly.
Only to feel whether you go full under sail or no, or that your lading be aboard your bark.
In plainer English, Lifter, if my purse be stored or no.
Ye have it, sir.
Excellent, excellent.
Then, sir, you cannot but for manner's sake walk on with him, for he will walk your way, alleging either you have much forgot him or he mistakes you.
But in this time, has he my purse or no?
Not yet, sir, fie. No, nor have I not yours. But now we must forbear my lord's return.
Murrain on it. Lifter will more anon, as thou sayest true, there are shrewd knaves indeed. He sits down. But let them gull me, widgeon me, rook me, fop me. In faith, they are too short for me. Knaves and fools meet when purses go. Wise men look to their purses well enough.
Lifter, is it done?
Done, Master Shreve, and there it is.
Then build upon my word. I'll save thy life.
Lifter, stand to the bar. The jury have returned the guilty. Thou must die according to the custom. Look to it, Master Shreve.
Then, gentlemen, as you are wont to do, because as yet we have no burial place where what charity your meanings to bestow towards burial of the prisoners now condemned, let it be given. There is first for me.
And there for me.
And me.
Yep.
Body of me, my purse is gone!
Gone, sir? What, here? How can that be?
Against all reason, sitting on the bench.
Lifter, I talked with you. You have not lifted me, huh?
Suspect ye me, sir? Oh, what a world is this?
Oh, but hear ye, Master Shrewsbury, are you sure you had a purse about you?
Sure, Master Shreve, as sure as you are there, and in it £7 odd money on my faith.
£7 odd money. What, were you so mad, being a wise man and a magistrate, to trust your purse with such a liberal sum? £7 odd money. For God, it is a shame with such a sum to tempt necessity. I promise ye, a man that goes abroad with an intent of truth, meeting such a booty, may be wrought to that he never thought. What makes so many pilferers and felons but these fond baits that foolish people lay to tempt the needy, miserable wretch? Should he be taken now that has your purse, I'll stand to it you are guilty of his death. For questionless he would be cast by law. 'Twere a good deed to fine ye as much more to the relief of the poor prisoners, to teach ye lock your money up at home.
Well, Master Moore, you are a merry man. I find ye, sir, I find ye well enough.
Nay, ye shall see, sir, trusting thus your money, and lift her here in trial for like case, but that the poor man is a prisoner. It would be now suspected that he had it. Thus may ye see what mischief often comes by the fond carriage of such needless sums.
Believe me, Master Shoresby, this is strange.
Yeah.
You being a man so settled in assurance will fall in that which you condemned in other.
Well, Master Shoresby, here's your purse again, and all your money. Fear nothing of more. Wisdom still keeps the mean and locks the door.
Act 1, Scene 3, London, a state apartment. Enter the Earls of Shrewsbury and Surrey, Sir Thomas Palmer and Sir Roger Cholmondeley.
I'd like to do the messenger in this scene, if that's okay.
Which one?
The messenger on page 20.
Ah,
Cool. My Lord of Surrey and Sir Thomas Palmer, might I with patience tempt your grave advice? I tell ye true that in these dangerous times I do not like this frowning vulgar brow. My searching eye did never entertain a more distracted countenance of grief thus than I have late observed in the displeased commons of this city.
'tis strange that from his princely clemency, so well a tempered mercy and a grace to all the aliens in this fruitful land, that this high-crested insolence should spring from them that breathe from his majestic bounty, that fattened with the traffic of our country already leaps into his subject's face.
Yet Sherwin, hindered to commence his suit against the bar by the ambassador, by supplication made unto the king, who having first enticed away his wife and got his plate, near worth £400, to grieve some wronged citizens that found this vile disgrace oft cast into their teeth, of late sued Sherwin and arrested him for money for the boarding of his wife.
The more knave barter that using Sherwin's good stuff ask him interest for the occupation. I like not that, my Lord of Shrewsbury. He's ill bested that lends a well-paced horse unto a man that will not find him meat.
My Lord of Surrey will be pleasant still.
I, being then employed by your honors to stay the broil that fell about the same, where by persuasion I enforced the wrongs and urged the grief of the displeased city, he answered me, and with a solemn oath, that if he had the mayor of London's wife, he would keep her in despite of any English.
'Tis good, Sir Thomas, then, for you and me. Your wife is dead, and I a bachelor. If no man can possess his wife alone, I am glad, Sir Thomas Palmer, I have none.
If I take a wife, I shall find her meet.
And reason good, Sir Roger Cholmondeley, too. If these hot Frenchmen needly will have sport, they should in kindness yet defray the charge. 'Tis hard when men possess our wives in quiet, and yet leave us in to discharge their diet.
My lord, our cators shall not use the market for our provision, but some stranger now will take the victuals from him he hath bought. A carpenter, as I was late informed, who having bought a pair of doves and cheap, immediately a Frenchman took them from him, and beat the poor man for resisting him. And when the fellow did complain his wrongs, he was severely punished for his labor.
But if the English blood be once but up, as I perceive their hearts already full, I fear me much before their spleens be cold, some of these saucy aliens for their pride will pay for it soundly, wheresoe'er it lights. This tide of rage that with the eddy strives, I fear me much will drown too many lives.
Now, before God, your honours, pardon me. Men of your place and greatness are to blame. I tell you true, my lords, in that his majesty is not informed of this base abuse, and daily wrongs are offered to his subjects. For if he were, I know his gracious wisdom would soon redress it.
Enter a messenger. Sirrah, what news?
None good, I fear.
My lord, ill news, and worse, I fear, will follow if speedily it be not looked unto. The city is in an uproar, and the mayor is threatened if he come out of his house. A number of poor artificers are up in arms and threaten to avenge their wrongs.
Oh, we feared what this would come unto. This follows on the doctors publishing the bill of wrongs in public at the Spital.
That Dr. Beale may chance beshrew himself for reading of the bill.
Let us go gather forces to the mayor for quick suppressing this rebellious root.
Now I bethink myself of Master Moore, one of the sheriffs, a wise and learned gentleman, and in especial favor with the people. He, backed with other grave and sober men, may by his gentle and persuasive speech perhaps prevail more than we can with power.
Believe me, but your honor well advises. Let us make haste, for I do greatly fear some of their graves this morning's work will bear. Exeunt, Act 2, Scene 1. Cheapside, enter 3 or 4 apprentices of trades with a pair of cudgels. Come, lay down the cudgels. Oh, Robin, you met us well at Bunhill, as you have with us a Maine this morning.
Faith, Harry, the head floor at the minor.
Go ahead.
The minor by the great conduit called me up, and we went to breakfast into St. Anne's Lane. But come, who begins? In good faith, I am clean out of practice. When was the garret school, Harry?
Not this great while. Never since I brake his usher's head when he played his scholar's prize at the Star in Bread Street. I use all to George Phillips at Dowgate. He's the best back swordsman in England.
Bait me an ace of that, quoth Bolton.
I'll not bait ye a pin on it, sir, for by this cudgel 'tis true.
I will cudgel that opinion out of ye. Did you break an usher's head, sir?
Ay, marry, did I, sir?
I am very glad on't. You shall break mine too, an ye can.
Sir, I prithee, what art thou?
Why, I am apprentice, as thou art. Seest thou now? I'll play with thee at Bluntier and Cheapside, and when thou'st done, if thou beest angry, I'll fight with thee at Shaw.
Act 2, Scene 2. St. Martin's le Grand, enter Lincoln, 2 Bettses, Williamson, Sherwin, and other armed, Doll, and a shirt of mail, a headpiece, sword, and buckler, a crew a-mending. Come, we'll tickle their turnips, we'll butter their boxes, shall strangers rule the roost? Yes, but we'll baste the roost. Come, a flaunt, a flaunt.
Brother, give place and hear John Lincoln speak.
I, Lincoln, my leader, and Doll, my true breeder, with the rest of the crew, shall run, tarara, run, do all that they can. Shall we be bobbed brave? No. Shall we be held under? No. We are freeborn, and do take scorn to be used so.
Peace there, I say. Hear Captain speak. Keep silence till we know his mind at large.
Then largely deliver, speak, bully, and he that presumes to interrupt thy oration, this for him.
Then, gallant bloods, you whose free souls do scorn to bear the enforced wrongs of aliens, add rage to resolution by the houses of these audacious strangers. This is St. Martin's, and yonder dwells Mutas, a wealthy Picardy at the Green Gate. De Bard, Peter Van Halak, Adrian Martin, with many more outlandish fugitives. Shall these enjoy more privilege than we are in our own country? Let's then become their slaves. Since justice keeps not them in greater awe, we be ourselves rough ministers at law.
No more swords, nor no more words, but fire the houses, brave captains courageous, fire me their houses.
Aye, for we may as well make bonfires on May Day as at midsummer. We'll alter the day in the calendar and set it down in flaming letters.
Stay, no, that would much endanger the whole city, whereto I would not the least prejudiced.
No, nor I neither. So may mine own house be burned for company. I'll tell you what, we'll drag the strangers into more fields, and there bombast them till they stink again.
And that's soon done, for they smell for fear already.
Let some of us enter the strangers' houses, and if we find them there, then bring them forth.
But if ye bring them forth or ye find them, I'll ne'er allow that.
Now, Mars, for thy honor, Dutch or French, so be it a wench, I'll upon her. Exeunt some and Sherwin.
Now, lads, sure shall we labour in our safety. I hear the mayor hath gathered men in arms, and that Shreve Moor an hour ago rise from the Privy Council in at Ludgate. Force now we must make our peace, or else we fall, till soon be known we are the principal.
And what of that? If thou be'st afraid, husband, go home again and hide thy head. For by the Lord, I'll have a little sport now we are at it.
Let's stand upon our swords, and if they come, receive them as they were our enemies.
Enter Sherwin and the rest. A purchase, we have found.
What?
Nothing. Not a French Fleming, nor a Fleming French to be found, but all fled, in plain English. Oh, now, have you found any? No, not one. They're all fled.
Then fire the houses that, the mayor being busy about the quenching of them, we may escape. Burn down their kettles, let us straightway lest this day prove to us an ill May Day.
Fire, I'll be the first. If hanging come, 'tis welcome. That's the worst. Exeunt, Act 2, Scene 3. The Guildhall. Enter at one door Sir Thomas More and Lord Mayor. At another, Sir John Monday, hurt.
What, Sir John Monday, are you hurt?
A little knocked, my lord. There was even now a sort of prentices playing at cudgels. I did command them to their masters' houses, but now I fear me they are gone to join with Lincoln, Sherwin, and their dangerous train.
The captains of this insurrection have taken themselves to arms, and came but now to both the counters, where they have released sundry indebted prisoners. And from thence I hear that they are gone into St. Martin's, where they intend to offer violence to the amazed Lombards. Therefore, my lord, if we expect the safety of the city, 'Tis time that force or parley do encounter with these displeased men.
Enter a messenger.
How now? What news?
My lord, the rebels have broke open Newgate, from whence they have delivered many prisoners, both felons and notorious murderers, that desperately cleave to their lawless train.
Up with the drawbridge. Gather some forces to Cornhill and Cheapside. And gentlemen, if diligence be weighed on every side, a quiet ebb will follow this rough tide.
Enter Shrewsbury, Surrey, Palmer, and Cholmondeley. O Lord Mayor, his Majesty, receiving notice of this most dangerous insurrection, hath sent my Lord of Surrey and myself, Sir Thomas Palmer, and our followers, to add unto your forces our best means for pacifying of this mutiny. In God's name, then, set on with happy speed. The king laments if one true subject bleed.
I hear they mean to fire the Lombards' houses. O power, what art thou in a madman's eyes? Thou makest the plodding idiot bloody wise.
My lords, I doubt not but we shall appease with a calm breath this flux of discontent, to call them to a parley, questionless.
A fellow good. 'Tis well said, Master Moore.
Let's to these simple men, for many sweat under this act that knows not the law's debt which hangs upon their lives. For silly men plod on, they know not how, like a fool's pen, that ending shows not any sentence writ, linked but to common reason or slightest wit. These follow for no harm, but yet incur self-penalty with those that raise this stir. A God's name, on to calm our private foes with breath of gravity, not dangerous blows.
Act 2, Scene 4, St. Martin's Gate. Enter Lincoln, Dahl, Clown, George Betts, Williamson, others, and a sergeant-at-arms.
Peace, hear me. He that will not see a red herring at a Harry Groat, butter at 11 pence a pound, meal at 9 shillings a bushel, and beef at 4 nobles a stone, list to me.
It will come to that pass if strangers be suffered. Mark him.
Our country is a great eating country. Ergo, they eat more in our country than they do in their own.
By halfpenny loaf a day, Troy weight.
They bring in strange roots, which is merely to the undoing of poor prentices. For what's a sorry parsnip to a good heart?
Trash! They breed sore eyes, and 'tis enough to infect the city with the palsy.
Nay, it has infected it with the palsy, for these bastards of dung, as you know they grow in dung, have infected us. And it is our infection will make the city shake, which partly comes through the eating of parsnips.
True, and pumpkins together.
What say ye to the mercy of the king? Do ye refuse it?
You would have us upon this, would you? No, marry, do we not. We accept of the king's mercy, but we will show no mercy upon the strangers.
You are the simplest things that ever stood in such a question.
How say ye, prentices? Prentice is simple. Down with him.
Prentice is simple.
Simple.
Prentice is
Is
simple.
simple.
Into the Lord Mayor, Shrewsbury, Moore.
Hold! In the king's name, hold! Friends, masters, countrymen. Peace, how, peace. I charge you keep the peace.
My masters, countrymen.
Noble Earl of Shrewsbury, let's hear him.
We'll hear the Earl of Surrey.
The Earl of Shrewsbury.
We'll hear both.
Both
Both.
of them.
Peace, I say peace. Are you men of wisdom, or what are you?
What you will have them, but not men of wisdom.
Will not hear my
Hear
Lord
my
of
Lord of
Surrey.
Surrey?
No.
Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury.
Whilst they are o'er the bank of their obedience, thus will they bear down all things.
Sheriff Moore speaks. Shall we hear Sheriff Moore speak?
Let's hear him. He keeps a plentiful chivalry, and a maid, my brother Arthur Watchins, Syrian safe yeoman. Let's hear Shrevemore.
Three more.
More. Three more.
Even by the rule you have among yourselves, command still audience.
Sorry.
More.
Peace, peace, silence, peace.
Peace. Silence, peace.
You that have voice and credit with the number, command them to a stillness.
A plague on them, they will not hold their peace. The duel cannot rule them.
Then what a rough and riotous charge have you to lead those that the duel cannot rule? Good masters, hear me speak.
Aye, by the mass will we more, thou art a good housekeeper, and I thank thy good worship. For my brother, Arthur Watchin.
Peace.
Look, what you do offend, you cry upon. That is the peace. Not one of you here present, had there such fellows lived when you were babes, that could have topped the peace as now you would. The peace wherein you have till now grown up had been ta'en from you, and the bloody times could not have brought you to the state of men. Alas, poor things, what is it you have got, although we grant you get the things you seek?
Marry, the removing of the strangers, which cannot choose but much advantage the poor handicrafts of the city.
Grant them removed, and grant that this your noise hath chid down all the majesty of England. Imagine that you see the wretched strangers, their babies at their backs, and their poor luggage plodding to the ports and costs for transportation, and that you sit as kings in your desires, authority quite silenced by your brawl, and you in ruff of your opinions clothed. What had you got? I'll tell you. You had taught how insolence and strong hands should prevail, how order should be quelled, and by this pattern not one of you should live an aged man. For other ruffians, as their fancies wrought with the self-same hand, self-reasons and self-right, would shark on you, and men like ravenous fishes would feed on one another.
Before God, that's as true as the gospel.
Nay, this is a sound fellow, I tell you. Let's mark him.
Let's me set up before your thoughts, good friends, on supposition, which, if you will mark, you shall perceive how horrible a shape your innovation bears. First, 'tis a sin which oft the apostle did forewarn us of, urging obedience to authority, and 'twere no error if I told you all you were in arms against your God himself.
Marry, God
forbid that.
Nay, certainly you are. For to the king God hath his office lent, of dread, of justice, power, and command, has bid him rule, and willed you to obey. And to add ampler majesty to this, he hath not only lent the king his figure, his throne and sword, but given him his own name, calls him a god on earth. What do you then, rising against him that God himself installs, but rise against God? What do you to your souls in doing this? Oh, desperate as you are, wash your foul minds with tears, and those same hands that you like rebels lift against the peace, lift up for peace, and your unreverent knees make them your feet to kneel to be forgiven. Tell me but this, what rebel captain, as mutinies are incident, by his name can still the right? Who will obey a traitor? Or how can well that proclamation sound when there is no addition but a rebel to qualify a rebel? He'll put down strangers, kill them, cut their throats, possess their houses, and lead the majesty of law in line to slip him like a hound. Say now the king, as he is clement, if the offender mourn, should so much come to short of your great trespass as but to banish you, whither would you go? What country, by the nature of your error, should give you harbour? Will go you to France or Flanders, to any German province, to Spain or Portugal, nay, anywhere that not adheres to England? Why, you must needs be strangers. You would be pleased to find a nation Would you be pleased to find a nation of such barbarous temper that breaking out in hideous violence would not afford you an abode on earth? Whet the detested knives against your throat, spurn you like dogs, and like as if that God owed not, nor made not you, nor that the claimants were not all appropriate to your comfort, but chartered unto them, what would you think to be thus used? This is the stranger's case, and this your mountainous inhumanity.
Faith, he says
It's
true.
true.
Let's do as
Let's
we
do
may
as
be
we may
done
be
by.
done to.
We'll be ruled by you, Master Moore, if you'll stand our friend to procure our pardon.
Submit you to these noble gentlemen. Entreat their mediation to the king. Give up yourself to form. Obey the magistrate, and there's no doubt but mercy may be found if you so seek. To persist in it is present death. But if you yield yourselves, no doubt what punishment you in simplicity have incurred, his highness in mercy will most graciously pardon.
We yield.
Yield and desire his highness mercy. They lay by their weapons.
No doubt his majesty will grant it you, but you must yield to go to several prisons, till that his highness will be further known.
Most willingly, whether you will have
us.
us. Lord Mayor, let them be sent to several prisons, and there in any case be well entreated. My Lord of Surrey, please you to take horse and ride to Cheapside, where the aldermen are with several companies in arms. Will them to go into their several wards, both for the stay of further mutiny, and for the apprehending of such persons as shall contend.
I go, my noble lord.
Exit Surrey. Will straight go tell his highness these good news withal, Shrevemore. I'll tell him how much your breath hath ransomed many a subject from sad death. Exit Shrewsbury and Cholmondeley.
Lincoln and Sherwin, you shall both to Newgate, the rest unto the counters.
Go guard them hence. A little breath well spent cheats expectation in his fairest event.
Well, Sheriff Moore, thou hast done more with thy good words than all they could with their weapons. Give me thy hand. Keep thy promise now for the king's pardon, or by the Lord I'll call thee a plain coney catcher.
Oh,
Farewell, Shrevemore, and as we yield by thee, so make our peace, then thou dealst honestly.
Aye, and save us from the gallows, else a devil's double, honestly. They are led away.
Master Shrevemore, you have preserved the city from a most dangerous, fierce commotion. For if this limb of riot here in St. Martin's had joined with other branches of the city that do begin to kindle, 'twould have been bred great rage. That rage much murder would have fed. Not steel, but eloquence hath wrought this good. You have redeemed us from much threatened blood.
my lord and brethren, what I here have spoke, my country's love and next the city's care enjoined me to. But since it thus prevails, think God hath made weak Moore his instrument to thwart sedition's violent intent. I think 'twere best, my lord, some 2 hours hence we meet at the Guildhall, and there determine that through every ward the watch be clad in armour, but especially proud that at the city gates selected men, substantial citizens, do ward tonight for fear of further mischief.
It shall be so. But yon, methinks, my lord of Shrewsbury.
Enter Shrewsbury. My lord, his majesty sends loving thanks to you, your brethren, and his faithful servants, your careful citizens. But, Master Moore, to you a rougher yet as kind a salutation. A knight's creation is this knightly steel. Rise up, Sir Thomas More.
I thank his highness for thus honouring me.
This is but first taste of his princely favour, for it hath pleased his high majesty, noting your wisdom and deserving merit, to put this staff of honour in your hand, for he hath chose you of his privy council.
My lord, for to deny my sovereign's bounty were to drop precious stones into the heaps from whence they came. To urge my imperfections in excuse were all as stale as custom. No, my lord, my service is my king's, good reason why, since life or death hangs on our sovereign's eye.
His Majesty hath honored much the city in this his princely choice.
My lord and brethren, though I depart for court, my love shall rest with you as heretofore a faithful guest. I now must sleep in court. Sound sleeps forbear. The chamberlain to state is public care. Yet in this rising of my private blood, my studious thoughts shall tend the city's good.
Enter Crofts. How now, Crofts? What news?
My
My
lord,
lord, His Highness sends express command that a record be entered of this riot, and that the chief and capital offenders be therein straight arraigned. For himself intends to sit in person on the rest tomorrow at Westminster.
Lord Mayor, you hear your charge. Come, good Sir Thomas More, to court let's hie. You are the appeaser of this mutiny.
My lords, farewell. New days begets new tides. Life whirls but fate, then to a grave it slides.
Exeunt severally. Act 3, Scene 1, Cheapside. Enter Master Sheriff and meet a messenger.
messenger, what news?
Is execution yet performed?
Not yet. The carts stand ready at the stairs, and they shall presently away to Tyburn.
Stay, Master Shreve. It is the council's pleasure, for more example in so bad a case, that gibbets be erected in Cheapside, hard by the standard, whether you must bring Lincoln and those that were the chief with him, to suffer death that immediately.
It shall be done, sir.
Exit messenger.
Officers, be speedy. Call for a gibbet. See it be erected. Others make haste to Newgate. Bid them bring the prisoners hither, for they here must die. Away, I say, and see no time be slacked.
We go, sir. Exit some severally. Others set up the gibbet.
That's well said, fellow. Now you do your duty. God for his pity help these troublous times. The streets stopped up with gazing multitudes command our armed officers with halberds make way for entrance of the prisoners. Let proclamation once again be made that every householder on pain of death keep in his premises, and every man must stand with a weapon ready at his door as he will answer to the contrary.
I'll see it done, sir. Exit. Enter another officer.
Bring them away to execution. The writ is come above 2 hours since. The city will be fined for this neglect.
There's such a press and multitude at Newgate that they cannot bring the carts onto the stairs to take the prisoners in.
Then let them come on foot. We may not dally time with great command.
Some of the bench, sir, think it very fit that stay be made and give it out abroad that execution is deferred till morning, and when the street shall be a little cleared, to chain them up and suddenly dispatch it.
Stay. In meantime, methinks they come along. See, they are coming. So 'tis very well.
The prisoners are brought in well guarded.
Bring Lincoln there the first unto the tree.
Eye for eye, cry lug, sir.
I knew the first, sir, did belong to me. This the old proverb now complete doth make, that Lincoln should be hanged for London's sake.
He goes up.
By God's name, let us to work. Fellow dispatch. I was the foremost man in this rebellion, and I the foremost that must die for it.
Bravely, John Lincoln. Let thy death express that as thou livest a man, thou diedst no less.
Dull Williamson, thine eyes shall witness it. Then to all you that come to view mine end, I must confess I had no ill intent, but against such as wronged us overmuch. And now I can perceive it was not fit that private men should carve out their redress which way they list. No, learn it now by me. Obedience is the best in each degree, and asking mercy meekly of my king, I patiently submit me to the Lord, but God forgive them that were cause of it. And as a Christian, truly from my heart, I likewise crave they would forgive me too, as freely as I do forgive their wrong. That others, by example of the same, henceforth be warned to attempt the like, against any alien that repaireth hither. Fare ye well all. The next time that we meet, I trust in heaven we shall each other greet.
He leaps off.
Farewell, John Lincoln. Say all what they can. Thou livest a good man, fellow, and diedst an honest man.
Would I wear so fair on my journey? The first stretch is the worst, methinks.
Bring Williamson there forward.
Good Master Shreve, I have an earnest suit, and as you are a man, deny it me not.
Woman, what is it? Be it in my power, thou shalt obtain it.
Let me die next, sir. That is all I crave. You know not what a comfort you shall bring to my heart, poor heart, to die before my husband.
Bring her to death. She shall have her desire.
Sir, and I have a suit for you too.
What is it?
That as you have hanged Lincoln first and will hang her next, so you will not hang me at all.
Nay. You set up the counter gates, and you must hang for the folly.
Well, then so much for it.
Sir, your free bounty much contents my mind. Commend me to that good Shreve Master Moore, and tell him, hadst not been for his persuasion, John Lincoln had not hung here as he does. We would first have locked us up in Leadenhall, and there been burnt to ashes with the roof.
Woman, what Master Moore did was a subject's duty, and hath so pleased our gracious Lord the King that he is hence removed to higher place and made of counsel to his majesty.
Well is he worthy of it, by my troth. An honest, wise, well-spoken gentleman. Yet would I praise his honesty much more if he had kept his word and saved our lives. But let that pass. Men are but men, and so words are but words, and pays not what men owe. You, husband, since perhaps the world may say that through my means thou comest thus to thy end, here I begin this cup of death to thee, because thou shalt be sure to taste no worse than I have taken that must go before thee. What though I be a woman? That's no matter. I do owe God a death, and I must pay him. Husband, give me thy hand. Be not dismayed. This chair being chaired, then all our debt is paid. Only 2 little babes we leave behind us, and all I can bequeath them at this time is but the love of some good honest friend to bring them up in charitable sort. What, masters? He goes upright that never halts, and they may live to mend their parents' faults.
Why, well said, wife.
Well said, wife. Thou cheerest my heart. Give me thy hand. Let's kiss, and so let's part.
He kisses her on the ladder.
The next kiss, Williamson, shall be in heaven. Now, cheerily, lads. George bets a hand with thee, and thine too, Rafe, and thine, good honest Sherwin. Now let me tell the women of this town, no stranger yet brought doll to lying down, so long as I an Englishman can see, nor French nor Dutch shall get a kiss of me. And when that I am dead, for me yet say I died in scorn to be a stranger's prey.
A great shout and noise cry within, "Pardon, pardon, pardon! Room for the Earl of Surrey there, room! Enter Surrey."
Save the man's life if it be possible.
It is too late, my lord. He's dead already.
I tell ye, Master Sheriff, you are too forward to make such haste with men unto their death. I think your pains will merit little thanks, since that his highness is so merciful as not to spill the blood of any subject.
My noble lord, what we had so much had known. The council's warrant hastened our dispatch. It had not else been done so suddenly.
Sir Thomas More humbly upon his knee did beg the lives of all, since on his word they did so gently yield. The king hath granted it, and made him Lord High Chancellor of England, according as he worthily deserves. Since Lincoln's life cannot be had again, then for the rest, from my dread sovereign's lips, I here pronounce free pardon for them all.
God save
God save the king.
God save the king.
my good Lord Chancellor and the Earl of
And
Surrey,
the Earl of Surrey.
flinging up caps.
And Doll desires that from her very heart More's name may live for this right noble part. And whensoever we talk of ill May Day, praise More. And I'm sure there was the rest of the line that rhymed.
Yeah.
In hopes his highness's clemency and mercy, which in the arms of mild and meek compassion would rather clip you as the loving nurse oft doth the wayward infant, than to leave you to the sharp rod of justice, so to draw you to shun such lewd assemblies as beget unlawful riots, and such traitorous acts that, striking with the hand of private hate, maim your dear country with a public wound. O God, that mercy, whose majestic brow should be unwrinkled, and that awful justice which looketh through a veil of sufferance upon the frailty of the multitude, should with the clamors of outrageous wrongs be stirred and wakened thus to punishment. But your deserved death he doth forgive. Who gives you life, pray all he long may live. God
God
save
save the king.
God
save
save
the
the
king.
king.
My good Lord
Good Lord
Chancellor.
Chancellor and the Earl of
Earl of Surrey.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 2, Chelsea. A room in Moore's house. A table being covered with a green carpet, a state cushion on it, and the purse and mace lying thereon. Enter Sir Thomas More.
Jennifer, off camera.
Okay.
It is in heaven that I am thus and thus, and that which we profanely term our fortunes is the provision of the power above, fitted and shaped just to that strength of nature which we are born withal. Good God, that I from such an humble bench of birth should step, as 'twere, up to my country's head, and give the law out there. I, in my father's life, to take prerogative and tithe of needs from eldest kinsman, and him bind by my place, to give the smooth and dexter way to me that owe it him by nature. Sure, these things, not physicked by respect, might turn our blood to much corruption, but the more thou hast, either of office, honour, wealth, and calling, which might excite thee to embrace and hug them, the more do thou in serpents' natures think them. Fear their gay skins with thought of their sharp state, and let this be thy maxim. To be great is when the thread of heyday is once spun, a bottom great wound, up great undone. Come, sir, are you ready?
Sir Randall, attired like Sir Thomas More. I
Yes,
guess my... Go ahead.
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. I stand but on a few points. I shall have done presently. Before God, I have practiced your lordship's shift so well that I think I shall go proud, my lord.
'Tis fit thou shouldst wax proud, or else thou'lt ne'er be allied to greatness. Observe me, sirrah, the learned clerk Erasmus is arrived within our English court. Last night I hear he feasted with our honoured English poet, the Earl of Surrey, And I learned today the famous clerk of Rotterdam will visit Sir Thomas More. Therefore, sir, take my seat. You, our Lord Chancellor. Dress your behaviour according to my carriage, but beware you talk not over much, for 'twill betray thee. Who prates not much seems wise, his wit few scam, while the tongue blabs tales of the imperfect man. I'll see if great Erasmus can distinguish merit and outward ceremony.
If I did not serve a share for playing of your lordship well, let me be yeoman usher to your sumpter and be banished from wearing of a gold chain forever.
Well, sir, I'll hide our motion, act my part with a firm boldness, and thou winst my heart.
Enter the Shreve with Falconer a ruffian and officers.
How now, what's the matter?
Tug me not, I'm no bear's blood. If all the dogs in Paris garden hung at my tail, I'll shake 'em off with this, that I'll appear before no king christened but my good Lord Chancellor.
Who's doing this?
We'll christen you, sir. Bring him forward.
How now, what tumults make you?
The azured heavens protect my noble Lord Chancellor.
What fellow's this?
A ruffian, sir, my lord, that hath set half the city in an uproar.
My lord.
There was a fray in Paternoster Row, and because they would not be parted, the street was choked up with carts.
My noble lord, Pannier Alley's throat was open.
Sirrah, hold your peace.
I'll prove the street was not choked, but is as well as it ever was since it was a street.
This fellow was a principal broacher of the broil.
Blood, I broached none. I was broached and half run out before I had a lick at it.
And would be brought before no justice but split your honor.
I am hailed, my noble lord.
No ear to choose for every trivial noise but mine, and in so full a time? Away, you wrong me, Master Shreve. Dispose of him at your own pleasure. Send the knave to Newgate.
To Newgate's blood, Sir Thomas More, I appeal from Newgate to any of the two worshipful counters.
Fellow, whose man are you that are thus lusty?
My name's Jack Faulkner. I serve, next under God and my prince, Master Morris, secretary to my Lord of Winchester.
A fellow of your hair is very fit to be a secretary's follower.
I hope so, my lord. The fray was between the bishop's men of Ely and Winchester, and I could not in honour but part them. I thought it stood not with my reputation and degree to come to my questions and answer before a city justice. I knew I should to the pot.
Thou hast been there, it seems, too late already.
I know your honour is wise and so forth, and I desire to be only catechized or examined by you, my noble Lord Chancellor.
Sirrah, you are a busy, dangerous ruffian.
Ruffian?
How long have you worn this hair?
I have worn this hair ever since I was born.
Yeah, you know that's not my question. But how long has this shag fleece hung dangling on thy head?
How long, my lord? Why, sometimes thus long, and sometimes lower, as the fates and humours please.
So quick, sir, with me, huh? I see, good fellow, that thou hast plain dealing, sirrah. Sirrah, tell me now, when were you last at barber's? How long time have you had upon your head worn this shag hair?
My lord, Jack Faulkner tells no Aesop's fables. Troth, I was not at barber this 3 years. I have not been cut, nor will be cut, upon a foolish vow, which as the destiny shall direct, I am sworn to keep.
Whence comes that vow out?
Why, when the humours are purged, not this 3 years.
Vows are recorded in the court of heaven, for they are holy acts. Young man, I charge thee and do advise thee, start not from that vow, and for I will be sure thou shalt not shrieve. Besides, because it is an odious sight to see a man thus hairy, Thou shalt lie in Newgate till thy vow and thy 3 years be full expired. Away with him.
My lord!
Cut off this fleece and lie there but a month.
I'll not lose a hair to be Lord Chancellor of Europe.
To Newgate, then. Sirrah, great sins are bred in all that body where there's a foul head. Away with him.
Exeunt, all except Randall. Enter Surrey, Erasmus, and attendants.
Now, great Erasmus, you must approach the presence of a most worthy, learned gentleman. This little isle holds not a truer friend unto the arts, nor doth his greatness add a feigned flourish to his worthy parts. He's great in study, that's the statist's grace, that earns more reverence than the outward place. Report, my lord, hath crossed the narrow seas, and to the several parts of Christendom hath borne the fame of your Lord Chancellor. I long to see him, with whom with loving thoughts I in my study oft have visited. Is that Sir Thomas More? It is, Erasmus. Now shall you view the honorablest scholar, the most religious politician, the worthiest counselor that tends our state. That study is the general watch of England. In it the prince's safety and the peace that shines upon our commonwealth are forged by loyal industry. I doubt him not to be as near the life of excellence as you proclaim him, when his meanest servants are of some weight. You saw, my lord, his porter give entertainment to us at the gate, in Latin good phrases. What's the master, then, when such good parts shine in his meanest men? His lordship hath some weighty business, for see yet he takes no notice of us. I think 'twere best I did my duty to him in a short Latin speech. Qui in celeberrima patria natus est et gloriosa, plus habet negotii, ut in nucem veniat quam qui.
I prithee, good Erasmus, be covered. I have forsworn speaking of Latin, else as I am true counselor, I tickle you with the speech. Nay, sit, Erasmus. Sit, good my lord of Surrey. I'll make my lady come to you anon, if she will, and give you entertainment.
Is this Sir Thomas More? Oh, good Erasmus, you must conceive his vein. He's ever furnished with these conceits.
Yes, faith, my learned poet does not what for that matter. I am neither more nor less than merry Sir Thomas always. Will sup with me? By God, I love a parlous wise fellow that smells of a politician better than a long progress.
We are deluded. This is not his lordship.
I pray you, Erasmus, how long will the Holland cheese in your country keep without maggots?
Fool, painted barbarism, retire thyself into thy first creation.
Exit Randall.
Thus you see, my loving learned friends, how far respect waits often on the ceremonious train of base illiterate wealth, whilst men of school, shrouded in poverty, are counted fools. Pardon, thou reverend German, I have mixed so slight a jest to the fair entertainment of thy most worthy self. For know, Erasmus, mirth wrinkles up my face, and I still crave, when that forsakes me, I may hug my grave.
Your honour's merry humour is best physic unto your able body. For we learn where melancholy chokes the passages of blood and breath, the erected spirit still lengthens our days with sportful exercise. Study should be the saddest time of life, the rest a sport exempt from thought of strife.
Erasmus preacheth gospel against physic, my noble poet.
Oh, my lord, you tax me in that word, poet, of much idleness. It is a study that makes poor our fate. Poets were ever thought unfit for state.
Oh, give not up fair poesy, sweet lord, to such contempt, that I may speak my heart. It is the sweetest heraldry of art that sets a difference between the tough, sharp holly and tender bay tree.
Yet, my lord, it has become the very logic number to all mechanic sciences.
Why, I'll show the reason. This is no age for poets. They should sing to the loud canon heroica facta, qui faciunt reges heroica carmina laudant. And as great subjects of their pen decay, even so unphysicked, they do melt away.
Enter Master Morris.
Come, will your lordship in? My dear Erasmus, I'll hear you, Master Morris, presently. My lord, I make you master of my house. We'll banquet here with fresh and staid delights. The muses' music here shall cheer our sprites. The cates must be but mean where scholars sit, for they're made all with courses of neat wit.
Exeunt Surrey, Erasmus, and attendants.
How now, Master Morris?
I am a suitor to your lordship in behalf of a servant of mine.
Oh, the fellow with long hair. Good Master Morris, come to me 3 years hence, and then I'll hear you.
I understand, your honor, but the foolish knave has submitted himself to the mercy of a barber, and is without ready to make a new vow before your lordship, hereafter to leave cavil.
Nay, then, let's talk with him. Pray call him in.
Enter Faulkner and officers. Bless your honor, a new man, my lord.
Why, sure, this is not he.
And your lordship will, the barber shall give you a sample of my head. I am he, in faith, my lord. I am Ipsy.
Why, now thy face is like an honest man's. Thou hast played well at this new cut, and won.
No, my lord, lost all that ever God has sent me.
God sent thee into the world as thou art now, with a short hair. How quickly are 3 years run out of Newgate.
I think so, my lord, for there was but a hair's length between my going thither and so long time.
Because I see some grace in thee, go free. Discharge him, fellows. Farewell, Master Morris. Thy head is for thy shoulders now more fit. Thou hast less hair upon it, but more wit.
Exit. Did I not tell thee always of these locks? And the locks were on again. All the goldsmiths in Cheapside should not pick them open. Sart! If my hair stand not on end when I look for my face in a glass, I am a polecat. Here's a lousy jest. But if I notched not that rogue Tom Barber that made me look like a brownist, hang me, I'll be worse to the nitical knave than 10-tooth's drawing. Here's a head with a pox.
What ails thee? Art thou mad now?
Mad now, nails, if loss of hair cannot mad a man, what can? I am deposed, my crown is taken from me. More had been better a scored Moorditch than a notched me thus. Does he begin sheep shearing with Jack Faulkner?
And you feed this vein, sir, you fare you well.
Why, farewell, Frost, I'll go hang myself out for the polehead. Make a Saracen of Jack.
Thou desperate knave, for I see the devil wholly gets hold of thee.
The devil's a damned rascal.
I charge thee, wait on me no more call me thy master.
Why, then a word, Master Morris.
I'll hear no words, so fare you well.
Splud, farewell.
Why dost thou follow me?
Because I'm an ass. Do you set your shavers upon me and then cast me off? Must I condole? Have the fates played the fools? Am I their cut? Now the poor sconce is taken. Must Jack march with bag and baggage?
Coxcomb.
Oh, nay, you have poached me. You have given me a hair. It's here, here.
Away, you kind ass. Come, sir, dry your eyes, keep your old place, and mend these fools.
I care not to be turned off, and 'twere a ladder, so it be in my humour, or the fates beckon to me. Nay, pray, sir, if the destiny spin me a fine thread, Faulkner flies another pitch, and to avoid the headache hereafter, before I'll be a hairmonger, I'll be a whoremonger. Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 3, Chelsea antechamber in Moore's house. Enter a messenger to Moore.
My honorable lord, the mayor of London, accompanied with his lady and her train, are coming hither, and are hard at hand to feast with you. A servant's come before to tell your lordship of their near approach.
Why, this is cheerful news. Friends go and come. Reverend Erasmus, whose delicious words express the very soul and life of wit, newly took sad leave of me, and with tears troubled the silver channel of the Thames, which, glad of such a burden, proudly swelled, and on her bosom bore him toward the sea. He's gone to Rotterdam. Peace go with him. He left me heavy when he went from hence, but this recomforts me. The kind Lord Mayor, his brethren aldermen, with their fair wives, will feast this night with us. Why, so it should be. Moor's merry heart lives by good company. Good gentlemen, be careful, give great charge. Our diet be made dainty for the taste, for of all people that the earth affords, the Londoners fare richest at their boards.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 1, Chelsea, a room in Moore's house. Enter Sir Thomas More, Master Roper, and serving men setting stools.
Come, my good fellows, stir, be diligent. Sloth is an idle fellow, leave him now. The time requires your expeditious service. Place me here, stools to set the ladies on. Son Roper, you have given order for the banquet.
I have, my lord, and everything is ready.
Enter his lady.
Oh, welcome, wife. Give you direction how women should be placed. You know it best. For my Lord Mayor, his brethren, and the rest, leave me alone. Men best can order men.
I warrant ye, my lord, all shall be well. There's one without that stays to speak with ye, and bade me tell ye that he is a player.
A player, wife? One of you bid him come in.
Exit 1.
Nay, stir there, fellows. You are too slow. See that your lights be in a readiness. The banquet shall be here. Oh, God's me, madam, leave my lady mayoress, both of us from the board, and my son Roper too. What may our guests think?
My lord, they are risen and sitting by the fire.
Why, yet go you and keep them company. It is not meet we should be absent both.
Exit lady. Enter player.
Welcome, good friend. What is you will with me?
My lord, my fellows and myself are come to tender ye our willing service, so please you to command us.
What, for a play, you mean? Whom do you serve?
My lord Cardinal's grace.
My Lord Cardinal's players. Now, trust me, welcome. You happen hither at a lucky time to pleasure me and benefit yourselves. The Mayor of London and some aldermen, his lady and their wives are my kind guests this night at supper. Now, to have a play before the banquet will be excellent. How think you, son Roper?
'Twill do well, my lord, and be right pleasing pastime to your guests.
Prithee tell me, what plays have you?
Oh, diverse, my lord. The cradle of security, his nail in the head, impatient poverty. The play of 4 Ps, Dives and Lazarus, lusty Juventus, and the marriage of wit and wisdom.
The marriage of wit and wisdom. That, my lads, I'll none but that. The theme is very good and may maintain a liberal argument. To marry wit to wisdom asks some cunning. Many have wit that may come short of wisdom. We'll see how master poet plays his part, and whether wit or wisdom grace his art. Go, and make him drink, and all his fellows too. How many are ye?
4 men and a boy, sir.
But one boy. Oh, then I see there's but few women in the play.
3, my lord, Dame Science, Lady Vanity, and Wisdom, she herself.
And one boy play them all? By Our Lady, he's laden. Well, my good fellow, get ye straight together and make ye ready with what haste ye may. Proud their supper against the play be done. Else shall we stay our guests here over long. Make haste, I pray you.
We will, my lord. Exit servant and player.
Where are the waits? Go, bid them play, and to spend the time a while.
Enter lady.
How now, madam?
My lord, they are coming hither.
They're welcome. Wife, I tell ye one thing. One sport is somewhat mended. We shall have a play tonight, the marriage of wit and wisdom, and acted by my good Lord Cardinal's players. How like you that, wife?
My lord, I like it well. See, they are coming.
The waits plays. Enter Lord Mayor, so many aldermen as may, the Lord Mayoress in scarlet, with other ladies and Sir Thomas More's daughters, servants carrying lighted torches by them.
Once again, welcome, welcome, my good Lord Mayor, and brethren all. For once I was your brother, and so I am still in heart. It is not state that can our love from London separate. True, upstart fools, but by sudden fortune tried, regard their former mates with naught but pride. But they that cast an eye still whence they came, know how they rose, and how to use the same.
My lord, you set a gloss on London's fame, and make it happy ever by your name. Needs must we say, when we remember more, 'twas he that drove rebellion from our door with grave discretions mild and gentle breath. Oh, how our city is by you renowned, and with your virtues our endeavors crowned.
No more, my good Lord Mayor, but thanks to all, that on so short a summons you would come to visit him that holds your kindness dear. Madam, you are not merry with my Lady Mayoress and these fair ladies. Pray sit them all. And here, my lord, let me appoint your place, the rest to seat themselves. Nay, I'll weary thee, you will not long in haste to visit me.
Good madam, sit. In sooth, you shall sit here.
Good madam, pardon me, it may not be.
In troth, I'll have it so. I'll sit here by ye. Good lady, sit. More stools here, ho.
It is your favor, madam, makes me thus presume above my merit.
When we come to you, then shall you rule us as we rule you here. Now must I tell you, madam, we have a play to welcome you withal. How good soe'er that know not I, my lord will have it so.
Wife, hope the best. I'm sure they'll do their best. They that would better comes not at their feast. My good Lord Cardinal's players, I thank them for it. Play us a play to lengthen out your welcome. They say it is the marriage of wit and wisdom, a theme of some import, howe'er it prove. But if art fail, we'll inch it out with love.
Enter a servant.
What, are they ready?
My lord, one of the prayers craves to speak with you.
With me? Where is he?
Enter Inclination, the vice, ready.
Here, my lord.
No, what's the matter?
We would desire your honor but to stay a little. One of my fellows is but run to Ogles for a long beard for young wit, and he'll be here presently.
A long beard for young wit? My man, he may be without a beard till he come to marriage, for wit goes not all by the hair. When comes wit in?
In the second scene next to the prologue, my lord.
No, I'll play on till that scene come, and by that time wit's beard will be grown, or else the fellow returned with it. And what part playest thou?
Inclination the vice, my lord.
Oh, grammar says now I may take the vice if I list. And wherefore hast thou that bridle in thy hand?
I must be bridled anon, my lord.
Oh, and if thou beest not saddled too, it makes no matter, for then wit's inclination may gallop so fast that he will outstrip wisdom and fall to folly.
Indeed, so he does to Lady Vanity, but we have no folly in our play.
Then there's no wit in't, now be sworn. Folly waits on wit as the shadow on the body, and where wit is ripest, there folly still is readiest. But begin, I prithee. We'll rather allow a beardless wit than wit all beard to have no brain.
Nay, he has his apparel on too, my lord, and therefore he is the readier to enter.
Then, good Inclination, begin at a venter.
Exit Inclination.
My Lord Mayor, wit lacks a beard, or else they would begin. I lend him mine, but that it is too thin. Silence, they come.
The trumpet sounds. Enter the prologue.
Now, for as much as in these latter days, throughout the whole world, in every land, vice doth increase and virtue decays, iniquity having the upper hand, we therefore intend, good gentle audience, a pretty short interlude to play at this present, desiring your leave and quiet silence. To show the same, as is meet and expedient, it is called the marriage of wit and wisdom, a matter right pithy and pleasing to hear, whereof in brief we will show the whole sum, but I must be gone, for wit doth appear.
Exit. Enter wit ruffling and inclination the vice. In an arbor green, asleep whereas I lay, the birds sang sweetly in the midst of the day. I dreamed fast of mirth and play. In youth is pleasure, in youth is pleasure. Methought I walked still to and fro, and from her company I could not go. But when I waked, it was not so. In youth is pleasure, in youth is pleasure. Therefore my heart is surely plight of her alone to have a sight, which is my joy and heart's delight. In youth is pleasure, in youth is pleasure.
Mark me, my lord, this is wit without a beard. What will he be by that time he comes to the commodity of a beard?
Oh, sir, the ground is the better on which she doth go, for she will make better cheer with the little she can get than many a one can with a great banquet of meat.
And is her name Wisdom?
Aye, sir, a wife most fit for you, my good master, my dainty sweet wit.
Ah, to be in her company my heart is set. Therefore I prithee to let us be gone, for unto wisdom wit hath inclination.
Oh, sir, she will come herself even anon. For I told her before where we would stand, and then she said she would beck us with her hand. Back with those boys with great saucy knaves. What?
Flourish.
Stand you here?
Flourishing a dagger.
What? Stand you here so big in your braves? My dagger about your coxcomb shall walk, if I may but so much as hear you chat or talk.
But will she take pains to come for us hither?
I warrant you. Therefore you must be familiar with her. When she cometh in place, you must her embrace somewhat handsomely, lest she think it danger because you are a stranger to come in your company.
I warrant thee, inclination, I will be busy. Oh, how wit longs to be in wisdom's company. Enter Lady Vanity, singing and beckoning with her hand.
Come hither, come hither, come hither, come. Such cheer as I have, thou shalt have some.
Well, this is Lady Vanity, I'll hold my life. Beware, good wit, you take her not to wife.
What? Unknown honesty? A word in your ear.
She offers to depart.
You shall not be gone as yet, I swear. Here's none but friends. You need not to fray. This young gentleman loves ye, therefore you must stay.
I trust in me she will think no danger, for I love well the company of fair women, and though to you I am a stranger, yet wit may pleasure you now and then.
Who, you? Nay, you are such a holy man that to touch on you dare not be bold. I think you would not kiss a young woman if one would give ye 20 pound in gold.
Oh, yes, in good sadness, lady, that I would. I could find in my heart to kiss you in your smock.
My back is broad enough to bear that mock, for it hath been told me many a time that you would be seen in no such company as mine.
Not wit in the company of Lady Wisdom? O Jove, for what do I hither come?
Sir, she did this nothing else but to prove whether a little thing would you move, to be angry and fret. What? And if one said so, let such trifling matters go, and with a kind kiss come out of her debt. Is Luggins come yet with the beard?
Enter another player. No, faith, he is not come, alas. What shall we do?
Forsooth, we can go no further till our Luggins come, for he plays good counsel, and now he should enter to admonish wit that this is Lady Vanity and not Lady Wisdom.
Nay, and it be no more but so, ye shall not tarry to stand for that. We'll not have our play marred for lack of a little good counsel. Till your fellow come, I'll give him the best counsel that I can. Pardon me, Lord Mayor, I love to be merry. Oh, wit, thou art now on the bow hand, and blindly in thine own opinion dost stand. I tell thee, this naughty lewd inclination doth lead thee amiss in a very strange fashion. This is not wisdom, but Lady Vanity. Therefore list to good counsel and be ruled by me.
In trust, my lord, it is as right to Luggins's part as can be. Speak, wit.
Nay, we'll not have our audience disappointed if I can help it.
Art thou good counsel, and will tell me so? Wouldst thou have wit from Lady Wisdom to go? Thou art some deceiver, I tell thee verily, and saying that this is Lady Vanity.
Judge not things by the outward show. The eye oft mistakes, right well you do know. Good counsel assures thee upon his honesty that this is not wisdom, but Lady Vanity.
Enter Luggins with the beard.
Oh, my lord, he has come. Now we shall go forward.
Art thou come? Oh, well, fellow, I have hoped to save thine honesty a little. Now, if thou canst give wit any better counsel than I have done, spare not. There I leave him to thy mercy. But by this time I am sure our banquet's ready. My lords and ladies, we will taste that first, and then they shall begin the play again, which through the fellow's absence, and by me instead of helping, have been hindered. Prepare against we come. Light there, I say. Thus fools oft times do help to mar the play.
Exeunt all but players. Fie, fellow Luggins, you serve us handsomely, do ye not, think ye?
Why, Ogo was not within, and his wife would not let me have the beard, and by my troth, I ran so fast that I sweat again.
Do ye hear, fellows? Would not my lord make a rare player? Oh, he would uphold the company beyond all hope, better than Mason among the king's players. Did you mark how eccentrically he fell to the matter and spake Luggins's part almost as it is in the very book set down?
A peace. Do ye know what ye say, my lord, a player? Let us not meddle with such matters. Yet I may be a little proud that my lord hath answered me in my part. But come, let us go, and he is ready to begin the play again.
Aye, that's the best, for now we lack nothing.
Enter a serving man.
Where be these players?
Here, sir.
My lord is sent for to the court, and all the guests do after supper part. And, for he will not trouble you again, by me for your reward ascends 8 angels with many thanks. But sup before you go. It is his will you should be fairly entreated. Follow, I pray ye.
This, Luggins, is your negligence. Wanting wit's beard brought things into dislike, for otherwise the play had been all seen. Where now come some curious citizens disgraced it, and discommending it, all is dismissed.
For God says true, but here he stirs 8 angels. Ha! My lord would never give 8 angels more or less for 12 pence. It should be 3, 5, or 10 pounds. There's 20 shillings wanting, sure.
20 to 1, 'tis so. I have a trick. My lord comes, stand aside. Enter more with attendants with purse and mace.
In haste to council. What's the business now that also late his highness sends for me? What seeks thou, fellow?
Nay, nothing. Your lordship sent 8 angels by your man, and I have lost 2 of them in the rushes.
Wit, look to that. 8 angels? I did send them 10. Who gave it them?
Aye, my lord. I had no more about me, but by and by they shall rescue the rest.
Well, wit was wisely done. Thou playest wit well indeed, not to be thus deceived of thy right. Am I a man by office truly ordained equally to decide true right his own? And shall I have deceivers in my house? Then what avails my bounty when such servants deceive the poor of what the master gives? Go on and pull his coat over his ears. There are too many such. Give them their right. Wit, let thy fellows thank thee, 'twas well done. Thou now deservest to match with Lady Wisdom.
Exit Moore with attendants.
God of mercy, Wit. Sir, you had a master Sir Thomas More of war, but now we shall have more.
God bless him. I would there were more of his mind. He loves our quality, and yet he's a learned man and knows what the world is.
Well, a kind man and more loving than many other, but I think we have met with the first.
First served his man that had our angels, and he may chance dine with Duke Humphrey tomorrow, being turned away to gay. Come, let's go.
And many such rewards would make us all ride, and horse with us the best nags in Smithfield. Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 2. Whitehall, the council chamber. Enter the Earls of Shrewsbury, Surrey, Bishop of Rochester, and other lords, severally doing courtesy to each other. Clerk of the council waiting bareheaded.
Good morrow to my lord of Shrewsbury.
The like unto the honored Earl of Surrey. Yond comes my lord of Rochester.
Good morrow, my good lords.
Clerk of the council, what time is of day?
Past
Past
8
2
o'clock.
o'clock, my lord. Sorry.
I wonder that my good Lord Chancellor doth stay so long, considering there's matters of high importance to be scanned upon.
Clerk of the council, certify his lordship the lords expect him here.
It shall not need. Yon comes his lordship.
Enter Sir Thomas More with purse and mace borne before him.
Good morrow to this fair assembly. Come, good lords, let's sit. Oh, serious square.
They sit.
Upon this little board is daily scanned the health and preservation of the land. We, the physicians that effect this good, now by choice diet, anon by letting blood. Our toil and careful watchings bring the king in league with slumbers, to which peace doth sing. Avoid the room there. What business, lords, today?
This, my good lord, about the entertainment of the emperor against the perfidious French into our pay.
My lords, as 'tis the custom in this place, the youngest should speak first. So if I chance in this case to speak youngly, pardon me. I will agree France now hath her full strength, as having new recovered the pale blood which war sluiced forth. And I consent to this, that the conjunction of our English forces with arms of Germany may soon bring this prize of conquest in. But then, my lords, as in the moral hunting twists the lion and other beasts, force joined with greed frighted the weaker surer from their parts. So if the empire's sovereign chanced to put his plea of partnership into war's court, swords should decide the difference, and our blood in private tears lament his entertainment.
To doubt the worst is still the wise man's shield that arms him safely. But the world knows this. The emperor is a man of royal faith. He loves his love unto our sovereign, brings him down from his imperial seat to march in pay under our English flag and wear the cross like some high order on his manly breast. Thus serving, he's not master of himself, but, like a colonel commanding other, is by the general overawed himself.
Yet, my good lord.
Let me conclude my speech. As subjects share no portion in the conquest of their true sovereign, other than the merit that from the sovereign guerdons the true subject, so the good emperor, in a friendly league of amity with England, will not soil his honor with the theft of English spoil.
There is no question but this entertainment will be most honourable, most commodious. I have oft heard good captains wish to have rich soldiers to attend them, such as would fight both for their lives and livings. Such a one is the good emperor. I would to God we had 10,000 of such able men. Then there would appear no court, no city, but where the wars were, they would pay themselves. Then, to prevent in French wars England's loss, let German flags wave with our English cross.
Enter Sir Thomas Palmer.
My lords.
Go
My lord?
ahead.
Okay. My lords, his majesty has sent by me these articles enclosed, first to be viewed and then to be subscribed to. I tender them in that due reverence which befits this place.
The great
Subscribe.
reverence.
Subscribe these articles. Stay, let us pause. Our conscience first shall parley with our laws. My Lord of Rochester, view you the paper.
Subscribe to these. Now, good Sir Thomas Palmer, beseech the king that he will pardon me. My heart will check my hand whilst I do right. Subscribing so, now we're a hypocrite. Do you refuse it then, my lord? I do, Sir Thomas. Then here I summon you forthwith to appear before his majesty to answer there this capital contempt. I rise and part, in lieu of this, to tender him my heart.
He riseth.
Will please your honor to subscribe, my lord.
Sir, tell his highness I entreat some time for to bethink me of this task. In the meanwhile, I do resign mine office into my sovereign's hands.
Then, my lord, hear the prepared order from the king. On your refusal, you shall straight depart into your house at Chelsea, till you know our sovereign's further pleasure.
Most willingly I go. My lords, if you will visit me at Chelsea, we'll go a-fishing with a cunning net. Not like weak film, we'll catch none but the great. Farewell, my noble lords. Why, this is right. Good morrow to the sun, to state good night.
Exit more.
Will you subscribe, my lords?
Instantly, good Sir Thomas. We'll bring the writing unto our sovereign.
They write.
My lord of Rochester, you mess with me to answer this contempt. This is the worst. Is freed from life, is from all care exempt.
Exit Rochester and Palmer.
Now let us hasten to our sovereign. 'Tis strange that my Lord Chancellor should refuse the duty that the law of God bequeaths unto the king.
Come, let us in. No doubt his mind will alter, and the bishop's too. Error in learned heads hath much to do. Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 3. Chelsea. Enter the Lady Moore, her 2 daughters, and Master Roper, as walking.
Madam, what ails you for to look so sad?
Oh, son, I know not what. I am not sick, yet I am not well. I would be merry, but somewhat why so heavy on heart, I cannot choose but sigh. You are a scholar. I pray ye, tell me, may one credit dreams?
Why do you ask you that, dear madam?
Because tonight I had the strangest dream that ere my sleep was troubled with. Methought 'twas night, and that the king and queen went on the Thames in barges to hear music. My lord and I were in a little boat, methought. Lord, Lord, what strange things live in slumbers. And being near, we grappled to the barge that bare the king. But after many pleasing voices spent in that still moving music house, we found the violence of the stream did sever us quite from the Golden Fleet, and hurried us onto the bridge, which with unused horror we entered at full tide. Thence, some slight shoot being carried by the waves, our boat stood still just opposite the tower. And there it turned and turned about, as when a whirlpool sucks through the circled waters. We thought that we both cried till that we were sunk, for arm in arm we died.
Give no respect, dear madam, to fond dreams. They are but slight illusions of the blood.
Tell me not all are so. For often dreams are true diviners, either of good or ill. I cannot be in quiet till I hear how my lord fares.
Know it. Come hither, wife. I will not fright thy mother to interpret the nature of a dream, but trust me, sweet, this night I have been troubled with thy father beyond all thought. Truly, and so have I. Methought I saw him here in Chelsea Church, standing upon the rood loft, now defaced, and while he knew and prayed before the image and fell with him into the upper choir where my poor father lay all stained in blood. Our dreams all meet in one conclusion, fatal, I fear.
What's that you talk? I pray thee, let me know it.
Nothing, good mother.
This is your fashion still. I must know nothing. Call Master Catesby, he shall straight to court, and see how my lord does. I shall not rest till my heart leave panting on his breast.
Enter Sir Thomas More, merrily, servants attending.
See where my father comes, joyful and merry.
As seamen having passed a troubled storm dance on the pleasant shore, so I, I could speak now like a poet. Now, for God, I am passing light. Wife, give me kind welcome. Thou wast wont to blame my kissing when my beard was in the stubble, but I have been trimmed of late. I have had a smooth court shaving in good faith. I have, God bless ye. Son Roper, give me your hand.
Your honor's welcome home.
Honor? And how dost, wife?
He bears himself most strangely.
Will your lordship in?
Lordship? No, wife, that's gone. The ground was slight that we did lean upon.
Lord, that your honor ne'er will leave these jests, and faith that ill becomes ye.
Oh, good wife, honor and jests are both together fled. The merriest counsellor of England's dead.
Who's that, my lord?
Still Lord, the Lord Chancellor, wife.
That's you.
Certain, but I have changed my life, and I am not leaner than I was before. The fat is gone, my title's only more. Content with one style, I'll live at rest. That have had many names, they that have many names are still not best. I have resigned mine office. Count'st me not wise?
Oh, God.
Come, breed not female children in your eyes. The king will have it so.
What's the offense?
Tush, let that pass. We'll talk of that anon. The king seems a physician to my fate. His princely mind would train me back to state.
And be his patient, my most honored father.
O son Roper, ubi turpus et medicinae sanare pige. No, wife, be merry, and be merry all. You smiled at rising, weep not at my fall. Let's in, and hear joy like to private friends, since days of pleasure have repentant ends. The light of greatness is with triumph born. It sets at midday oft with public scorn.
Act 4, Scene 4, the Tower. Enter the Bishop of Rochester, Surrey, Shrewsbury, Lieutenant of the Tower, and warders with weapons.
Your kind persuasions, honorable lords, I can but thank ye for. But in this breast there lives a soul that aims at higher things than temporary pleasing earthly kings. God bless his highness even with all my heart. We shall meet one day, though that now we part.
We not misdoubt your wisdom can discern what best befits it. Yet in love and zeal we could entreat it might be otherwise.
No doubt your fatherhood will by yourself consider better of the present case, and grow as great in favor as before.
For that is pleaseth God. With my restraint from worldly causes, I shall better see it into myself than at proud liberty. The Tower and I will privately confer of things, wherein that freedom I may err. But I am troublesome unto your honors, and hold you longer than becomes my duty. Master Lieutenant, I am now your charge. And though you keep my body, yet my love waits on my king and you while Fisher lives.
Farewell, my lord of Rochester. We'll pray for your release and labor as we may.
Therefore assure yourself, so do we leave ye, and to your happy private thoughts bequeath ye, exeunt lords.
Now, Master Lieutenant, on a God's name go. And with this glad of mind go I with you, as ever true and bade the school adieu.
Exeunt Act 4, Scene 5, Chelsea. A room in Moore's house. Enter Sir Thomas More, his lady, daughters, Master Roper, gentlemen and servants, as in his house at Chelsea.
Good morrow, good son Roper. Sit, good madam, upon an humble seat the time so craves. Rest your good heart on earth, the roof of graves. You see the floor of greatness is uneven, the cricket and high throne alike near heaven. Now, daughters, you that like to branches spread and give best shadow to a private house, be comforted, my girls, your hopes stand fair. Virtue breeds gentry, she makes the best heir.
Good morrow to your honour.
Nay, good night rather. Your honours crest fain with your happy father.
Oh, what formality, what square observance lives in a little room. Here public care gags not the eyes of slumber. Here fierce riot ruffles not proudly in a coat of trust, whilst like a pawn at chess he keeps in rank with kings and mighty fellows. Yet indeed those men that stand on tiptoes smile to see him pawn his fortunes.
True, son, nor does the wanton tongue here screw itself into the ear that like a vice drinks up the iron instrument.
We are here at peace.
Then peace, good wife.
For, keeping still in compass, a strange point in time's new navigation, we have sailed beyond our course.
Have done.
We are exiled the court.
Still thou harpest on that. 'Tis sin for to deserve that banishment, but he that ne'er knew court, court's sweet content.
Oh, but dear husband,
I will not hear thee, wife. The winding labyrinth of thy strange discourse will ne'er have end. Sit still, and, my good wife, entreat thy tongue be still, or credit me, thou shalt not understand a word we speak. We'll talk in Latin. Humida vallis rairos patitur fulminis ictus. The more rest enjoys the subject meanly bred than he that bears the kingdom on his head. Great men are still musicians, else the world lies. They learn low strains after the notes that rise.
Good sir, be still yourself, and but remember how in this general court of short-lived pleasure, the world creation is the ample food that is digested in the maw of time. If man himself be subject to such ruin, how shall his garment then, or the loose points that tie respect unto his awful place, avoid destruction? Most honored father-in-law, the blood you have bequeathed these several hearts to nourish your posterity stands firm, and as with joy you let us first to rise, so with like hearts will lock preferment's eyes.
Clothe them not then with tears, for that ostent gives a wet signal of your discontent. If you will share my fortunes, comfort then, and 100 smiles for one sigh. But we are men, resign wet passion to these weaker eyes, which proves their sex, but grants it no more wise. Let's now survey our state. Here sits my wife, and dear esteemed issue yonder stand, my loving servants. Now the difference twixt those and these. Now you shall hear my speak like more in melancholy. I conceive that nature hath sundry metals, out of which she frames us mortals, each in valuation outprizing other. Of the finest stuff, the finest features come. The rest of earth receive base fortune even before their birth. Hence slaves have their creation, and I think nature provides content for the base mind. Under the whip, the burden and the toil, their low-wrought bodies drudge in patience. As for the prince in all his sweet-gorged maw, and his rank flesh that sinfully renews the noon's excesses in the night's dangerous surfeits, what means or misery from our birth doth flow, nature entitles to us. That we owe. But we, being subject to the rack of hate, falling from happy life to bondage state, having seen better days, now we know the lack of glory that once reared each high-fed back. But you, that in your age did nerve you better, challenged not fortune for your thriftless debtor.
Sir, we have seen far better days than these.
I was the patron of those days, and know those were but painted days only for show. Then grieve not you to fall with him that gave them, generosis servis gloriosum mori. Dear Gough, thou art my learned secretary. You, Master Catesby, steward of my house, the rest like you have had fair time to grow in sunshine of my fortunes, but I must tell you, corruption is fled hence with each man's office. Bribes that make open traffic twixt the soul and netherland of hell deliver up their guilty homage to the second lords. Thus, then, living thus untainted, you are well. Truth is no pilot for the land of hell.
Enter a servant. My
What?
lord, there are new lighted at the gate the Earls of Surrey and of Shrewsbury, and they expect you in the inner court.
Entreat their lordships come into the hall.
Exit servant.
Oh God, what news with them?
Why, how now, wife? They are but come to visit their old friend.
Oh God, I fear.
What shouldst thou fear, fond woman? Justum si fractus illabatur orbis, in pavidum frient reune. Here let me live estranged from great men's looks. They are like golden flies on leaden hooks.
Enter the Earl's Downs with his mace and attendants. Good morrow, good Sir Thomas. Kind salutations.
Good day, good madam.
Welcome, my good lords. What ails your lordships look so melancholy? Oh, I know you live in court, and the court diet is only friend to physic.
Oh, Sir Thomas, our words are now the king's, and our sad looks the interest of your love. We are sent to you from our mild sovereign once more to demand if you'll subscribe unto those articles we sent you the other day. Be well advised, for on mine honor, Lord, grave Dr. Fisher, Bishop of Rochester, at the self-same instant attached with you, is sent into the Tower for the like obstinacy. His Majesty hath only sent you prisoner to your house. But if you now refuse or to subscribe, a stricter course will follow.
Oh, dear husband.
Kneeling and weeping. Dear father.
See, my lords, this partner and these subjects to my flesh prove rebels to my conscience. But, my good lords, if I refuse, must I unto the Tower?
You must, my lord. Here is an officer ready to arrest you of high treason.
Oh God. Oh God.
God. Be patient, good men.
Aye, Downs, is't thou? I once did save thy life, when else by cruel riotous assault thou hadst been torn in pieces. Thou art reserved to be my summoner to yon spiritual court. Ah, give me thy hand. Good fellow, smooth thy face. The diet that thou drink'st is spiced with mace, and I could ne'er abide it. 'Twill not digest, 'twill lie too heavily, man, on my weak breast.
Be brief, my lord, for we are limited unto an hour.
Unto an hour? 'Tis well. The bell shall soon toll my knell.
Dear loving husband, if you respect not me, yet think upon your daughters.
Kneeling.
Wife, stand up. I have bethought me, And now I'll satisfy the king's good pleasure.
Pointing to himself.
Oh, happy alteration.
Come then, subscribe, my lord.
I'm right glad of this your fair conversion.
Oh, pardon me. I will subscribe to go unto the Tower with all submissive willingness, and there to add my bones to strengthen the foundation of Julius Caesar's palace. Now, my lord, I'll satisfy the king, even with my blood. Now will I wrong your patience. Friend, do thine office.
Sir Thomas More, Lord Chancellor of England, I arrest you in the king's name of high treason.
Gramercy's friend, to a great prison to discharge the strife commenced twixt conscience and my frailer life. More must now march. Chelsea, adieu, adieu. Strange farewell, thou shalt ne'er more see more true, for I shall ne'er see thee more. Servants, farewell. Wife, mar not thine indifferent face. Be wise. More's widow's husband, he must make thee rise. Daughters, what's here? What's here? Mine eye hath almost parted with a tear. Dear son, possess my virtue that I ne'er gave. Grave Moor thus lightly walks to a quick grave.
Cry leves loquuntur, ingentes stupent.
You that way in. Mind you my course in prayer. By water I to prison, to heaven through air.
Exeunt, Act 5, Scene 1, the Tower Gate. Enter the warders of the tower with halberds.
Ho, make a guard there.
Master Lieutenant gives a straight command. The people be avoided from the bridge.
From whence is he committed? Who can tell?
From Durham House, I hear.
The guard were waiting there an hour ago.
If he stay long, he'll not get near the wharf. There's such a crowd of boats upon the Thames.
Well, be it spoken without offense to any, a wiser or more virtuous gentleman was never bred in England.
I think the poor will bury him in tears. I never heard a man since I was born so generally bewailed of everyone.
Enter a poor woman.
What means this woman? Whither didst thou press?
This woman will be trod to death anon.
What makest thou here?
To speak with that good man, Sir Thomas More.
To speak with him? He's not Lord Chancellor.
The more's the pity, sir, if it pleases God.
Therefore, if thou hast a petition to deliver, thou mayst keep it now, for anything I know.
I am a poor woman, and have had, God knows, a suit this 2 year in the chancery. And he hath all the evidence I have, which should I lose, I am utterly undone.
Faith, and I fear thou'lt hardly come by him now. I'm sorry for thee, even with all my heart.
Enter the lords with Sir Thomas More in attendance, and enter Lieutenant and Gentleman Porter.
Woman, stand back. You must avoid this place. The lords must pass this way into the tower.
I thank your lordships for your pains thus far to my strong house.
Now, good Sir Thomas More, for Christ's dear sake, deliver me my writings back again that do concern my title.
But, my old client, art thou got hither too? Poor silly wretch, I must confess indeed I had such writings as concern thee near, but the king hath ta'en the matter into his own hand. He has all I had. Then, woman, sue to him, I cannot help thee. Thou must bear with me.
Ah, gentle heart, my soul for thee is sad. Farewell, the best friend that the poor e'er had.
Exit woman. Before you enter through the tower gate, your upper garment, sir, belongs to me.
Sir, you shall have it. Here it is.
He gives him his cap. The utmost on your back, sir, you mistake me.
Oh, sir, now I understand you very well. But that you name my back, sure else my cap had been the uppermost.
Farewell, kind lord. God send us merry meeting.
Amen, my lord.
Farewell, dear friend. I hope your safe return.
My lord, and my dear fellow in the muses, farewell. Farewell, most noble poet.
Adieu, most honored lords, exeunt lords.
Fair prison, welcome. Yet methinks for thy fair building 'tis too foul a name. Many a guilty soul and many an innocent have breathed their farewell to thy hollow rooms. I oft have entered into thee this way, yet I thank God now with a clear conscience than at this hour. This is my comfort yet. How hard, sore my lodging prove, the cry of the poor suitor, faith fatherless orphan, or distressed widow, shall not disturb me in my quiet sleep. On then, God's name to our close abode. God is as strong here as he is abroad.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 2. Moore's house. Enter butler, porter, and housekeeper several ways.
Robin Brewer, how now, man? What cheer? What cheer?
Faith, Ned Butler, sick of thy disease, and these are other fellows here, Rafe Horsekeeper and Giles Porter. Sad, sad. They say my lord goes to his trial today.
Do it, man. Why he is now at it. God set him well to speed.
Amen. Even as I wish to mine own soul, so speed it with my honorable lord and master, Sir Thomas More.
I cannot tell. I have nothing to do with matters above my capacity. But as God judge me, if I might speak my mind, I think there lives not a more harmless gentleman in the universal world.
Nor a wiser, nor a merrier, nor an honester. Go to, I'll put that in upon mine own knowledge.
Nay, and ye bate him his due of his housekeeping. Hang ye all. Ye have many lord chancellors comes in debt at the year's end, and for very housekeeping.
Well, he was too good a lord for us, and therefore, I fear, God himself will take him. But I'll be hanged if ever I have such another service.
Soft, man, we are not discharged yet. My lord may come home again, and all will be well.
I must mistrust it. When they go to raining once, there's ever foul weather for a great while after. Soft, here comes Master Gow and Master Catesby. Now we shall hear more.
Enter Gow and Catesby with a paper.
Poor God, they are very sad. I doubt my lord is condemned.
Oh, God bless his soul, and a fig then for all worldly condemnation.
Well said, Giles Porter. I commend thee for it. 'Twas spoken like a well-affected servant of him that was a kind lord to us all.
Which now no more he shall be, for, dear fellows, now we are masterless, though he may live so long as please the king, but law hath made him a dead man to the world, and given the axe his head, but his sweet soul to live among the saints.
Let us entreat ye to go call together the rest of your sad fellows. By the rule ye are just 70, and tell them what we hear. A virtuous, honorable lord hath done even for the meanest follower that he had. This writing found my lady in his study this instant morning, wherein is set down each servant's name according to his place and office in the house. On every man he frankly hath bestowed 20 nobles, the best and worst together, all alike, which Master Catesby hereforth will pay thee.
Take it as it is meant, a kind remembrance of a fair, kinder lord, with whose sad fall he gives up house and farewell to us all. Thus the fair spreading oak falls not alone, but all the neighbor plants and under trees are crushed down with its weight. No more of this. Come and receive your due, and after go, fellow like hence, co-partners of our woe. Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 3, the Tower. Enter Sir Thomas More, the lieutenant, and his servant attending as in his chamber at the Tower.
Master Lieutenant, is the warrant come? If it be so, a God's name let us know it.
My lord, it is.
'Tis welcome, sir, to me with all my heart. His blessed will be done.
Your wisdom, sir, hath been so well approved, and your fair patience in imprisonment hath ever shown such constancy of mind and Christian resolution in all troubles as warrant us you are not unprepared.
No, Master Lieutenant, I thank my God I have peace of conscience, although the world and I are at a little odds, but we'll be even now, I hope, ere long. When is the execution of your warrant?
Tomorrow morning.
So, sir, I thank thee. I have not lived so ill, I fear to die. Master Lieutenant, I have had a sore fit of the stone tonight, but the king hath sent me such a rare receipt, I thank him, as I shall not need to fear it much.
In life and death, still merry, Sir Thomas More.
Sir fellow, reach me the urinal.
He gives it him.
Let me see. Oh, there's gravel in the water, and yet I see no grave danger in that. The man were likely to live long enough to so please the king. Here, fellow, take it.
Shall I go with it to the doctor, sir?
Oh, no, save thy labour. We'll costen him of a fee. Thou shalt see me take a dram tomorrow morning, shall cure the stone, I warrant. Doubt it not. Master Lieutenant, what news of my Lord of Rochester?
Yesterday morning was he put to death.
Oh, the peace of soul sleep with him. He was a learned and a reverend prelate, and a rich man, believe me.
If he were rich, what is Sir Thomas More, that all this while hath been Lord Chancellor?
Say ye so, Master Lieutenant? What do you think a man that with my time had held my place might purchase?
Perhaps, my lord, £2,000 a year?
Oh, Master Lieutenant, I protest to you, I never had the means in all my life to purchase one poor £100 a year. I think I am the poorest chancellor that ever was in England, though I could wish for credit if the place at my estate were better.
It's very strange.
It will be found as true. I think, sir, that with most part of my coin I have purchased as strange commodities as ever you heard tell of in your life.
Commodities, my lord? Might I, without offense, inquire of them?
Crouches, Master Lieutenant, and bare cloaks for halting soldiers and poor needy scholars have had my gettings in the chancery. To think but what a cheat the crown shall have by my attainder. I prithee, if thou beest a gentleman, get but a copy of my inventory. That part of poet that was given me made me a very unthrift, for this is the disease attends us all. Poets were never thrifty, never shall.
Oh, noble More. My lord, your wife, your son-in-law, and daughters.
Son Roper, welcome, welcome, wife and girls. Why do you weep? Because I live at ease? Did you not see when I was chancellor I was so clogged with suitors every hour I could not sleep, nor dine, nor sup in quiet? Here's none of this. Here I can sit and talk with my honest keeper half a day together. Laugh and be merry. Why then should you weep?
These tears, my lord, for this your long restraint, hope had dried up with comfort that we yet, although imprisoned, might have had your life.
To live in prison? Oh, what a life were that! The king, I thank him, loves me more than so. Tomorrow I shall be at liberty to go even whither I can, after I have dispatched my business.
Husband, husband, yet submit yourself. Have care of your poor wife and children.
Wife, so I have, and I do leave you all to his protection, hath the power to keep you safer than I can, the father of the widow and the orphans.
The world, my lord, hath ever held you wise, and shall be no distaste unto your wisdom to yield to the opinion of the state.
I have deceived myself, I must acknowledge. And as you say, son Roper, to confess the same, it will be no disparagement at all.
His Highness shall be certified thereof immediately.
Offering to depart.
Nay, hear me. First let me tell you how. I thought to have had a barber for my beard. Now I remember that were labour lost. The headsman now shall cut off head and all.
Father, his majesty, upon your meek submission, will yet, they say, receive you to his grace in as great credit as you were before.
Has appointed me to do a little business. If that were past, my girl, thou then shouldst see that I would say to him about the matter, but I shall be so busy until then, I shall not tend it.
My dear father.
Dear lord and husband,
be comforted, good wife, to live and love my children, for with thee leave I all my care of them. Son Roper, for my sake, that have loved thee well, and for her virtue's sake, cherish my child. Girl, be not proud, but of thy husband's love. Ever retain thy virtuous modesty. That modesty is such a comely garment as it is never out of fashion, sits as fair upon the meaner woman as the empress. No stuff that gold can buy is half so rich, nor ornament that so becomes a woman. Live all and love together, and thereby you give your father a rich obsequy.
Your blessings, dear father.
I must be gone. God bless you. To talk with God now doth call.
Aye, my dear husband.
Sweet wife, good night. Good night. God send us all his everlasting light.
I think before this hour more heavy hearts ne'er parted in the tower.
Exeunt, Act 5, Scene 4, Tower Hill. Enter the sheriffs of London and their officers at one door, the warders with their halberds at another. Officer, what time of day is't?
Almost 8 o'clock.
We must make haste then, lest we stay too long.
Good morrow, Master Shrews of London. Master Lieutenant, will ye prepare to the limits of the tower, there to receive your prisoner?
Go back and tell his worship we're ready.
Go bid the officers make clear the way. There may be passage for the prisoner. Enter lieutenant and his guard with more.
Yet, God be thanked, there is a fair day forward to take our journey in. Master Lieutenant, it were fair walking on the tower leads.
And so it might have liked, my sovereign lord. I would to God you might have walked there still. He weeps.
Sir, we are walking to a better place. Oh, sir, your kind and loving tears are like sweet odors to embalm your friend. Thank you, good lady. Since I was your guest, she has made me a very wanton in good sooth.
Oh, I had hoped we should not yet have parted.
But I must leave you for a little while. Within an hour or two you may look for me, but there will be so many come to see me that I shall be so proud. I will not speak, and sure my memory has grown so ill, I fear I shall forget my head behind me.
God and his blessed angels be about ye. Here, Master Shreves, receive your prisoner.
Good morrow, Master Shreves of London, to ye both. I thank ye that ye will vouchsafe to me. I see by this that you have not quite forgot that I was in times past, as you are now, a sheriff of London.
Sir, then you know our duty doth require it.
Oh, I know it well, sir. else I would have been glad. You might have saved a labor at this time. Ah, Master Sheriff, you and I have been of old acquaintance. You were a patient auditor of mine when I read the divinity lecture at St. Lawrence's.
Sir Thomas More, I have heard you oft, as many others did, to our great comfort.
Pray God you may so now, with all my heart. And as I call to mind, when I studied the law in Lincoln's Inn, I was of counsel with ye in a cause.
I was about to say so, good Sir Thomas.
Oh, this is the place. I promise ye it is a goodly scaffold. In sooth, I am come about a headless errand, for I have not much to say now I am here. Well, let's ascend in God's name. Troth, methinks your stare is somewhat weak. I prithee, honest friend, lend me your hand to help me up. As for my coming down, let me alone. I'll look to that myself.
As he is going up the stairs, enter the Earls of Surrey and Shrewsbury.
My lords of Surrey and Shrewsbury, give me your hands. Yet before we... You see, though it pleaseth the king to raise me thus high, yet I am not proud. For the higher I mount, the better I can see my friends about me. I am now on a far voyage, and this strange wooden horse must bear me thither. Yet I perceive by your looks you like my bargain so ill that there's not one of ye all dare enter with me. Truly, here's a most sweet gallery. I like the air of it better than my garden in Chelsea. By your patience, good people, that have pressed thus into my bedchamber, if you'll not trouble me, I'll take a sound sleep here.
My lord, 'twere good you'd publish to the world your great offence unto his majesty.
My lord, I'll bequeath this legacy to the hangman.
Gives him
And
his
I do it instantly. I confess his majesty hath ever been good to me, and my offence to his highness makes me of a state pleader, a stage player, although I'm old and have a bad voice, to act this last scene of my tragedy. I'll send him for my trespass a reverend head, somewhat bald, for it is not requisite any hand should stand covered to so high majesty. If that content him not, because I think my body will then do me small pleasure, let him bury it and take it.
My lord, hold conference with your soul. You see, my lord, the time of life is short.
Oh, I see it, my good lord. I dispatched that business the last night. I come hither only to be let blood. My doctor here tells me it is good for the headache.
I beseech thee, my lord, forgive me.
Forgive the honest fellow, why?
For your death, my lord.
Oh, my death. I had rather it were in thy power to forgive me, for thou hast the sharpest actions against me. The law, my honest friend, lies in thy hands now. Here is thy fee. And my good fellow, let my suit be dispatched presently, for 'tis all one pain to die a lingering death than to live in the continual mill of a lawsuit. But I can tell thee my neck is so short that if thou shouldst behead 100 noblemen like myself, thou wouldst ne'er get credit by it. Therefore, look ye, sir, do it handsomely, or of my word thou shalt never deal with me hereafter.
I'll take an order for that, my lord.
One thing more, take heed thou cuts not off my beard. Oh, I forgot execution passed upon that last night, and the body of it lies buried in the tower. Stay, it's not possible to make escape from all this strong guard? Oh, it is. There is a thing within me that will raise and elevate my better part above sight of these same weaker eyes. And, Master Shrives, for all this troop of steel that tends my death, I shall break from you and fly up to heaven. Now, let's seek the means for this.
My lord, I pray ye, put off your doublet.
Oh, speak not so coldly to me. I am hoarse already. I would be loath, good fellow, to take more. Point me to the block. I was never here before.
To the east side, my lord.
Then to the east we go to sigh, that o'er to sleep in rest. Here more forsakes all mirth, good reason why. The fool of flesh must with her frail life die. Now I salute my trunk with a sad tear. Our birth to heaven should be thus, void of fear.
Exit with hangman, etc.
A very learned, worthy gentleman seals error with his blood. Come, we'll to court. Let's sadly hence to perfect unknown fates, whilst he tends progress to the state of states.
Fini! And there we have more of Sir Thomas More than you usually have with the reading his Shakespeare scenes first and
Yeah.
in that. So it is,
Yeah. That was a nice, cheerful way to end a Saturday, wasn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah, it is sort of interesting the way they sort of like talk about it, but not talk about like the real reason of why.
Yeah,
we
yeah. They never
decide, like,
suddenly realized we're talking.
Everyone knows what those articles were.
Well, they did then. Yeah,
Yeah,
But we know now.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And by the Bishop of Rochester, I mean that's also, I guess, sort of he was a significant one. But it is a far.
Would you explain that? I didn't quite catch you.
I know I was saying, well, because we also, another indicator though is that you have the Bishop of Rochester who refuses to sign with it, to give you some sort of sense that it is some sort of a religious issue here.
Yeah.
But nothing sort of specific, and Henry VIII is just sort of the big offstage power, and but
You can see the different styles in the play. And I mean, the play within the play that got in the way there. And that's obviously somebody doing their party piece, you know.
yeah.
All the puns on Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess some of the other gentlemen who wrote saw Shakespeare's bit where he double plays Moore's name, and they thought they'd have a try as well. But
Well, I mean, it's so obvious.
Got a bit heavy-handed in it, you know.
It did.
2 or 3 lines of it's fine. When it goes on for half a page, no, come on, guy, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the rule of 3, you know. No, 3, no more than that. For God's sake, no, enough. Yeah.
Yes, very, very true, very true. And it is interesting, sort of so long before and closer to the actual time, that A Man for All Seasons actually tells the story, I think, a lot better.
Yes, it does.
In this play, they never specify why he was deposed from the Lord Chancellorship, why he was sent to the Tower, why he was executed. You just have to know.
Yeah, 1 minute he was Lord Chancellor, and the next minute, oh, I'm not anymore. Oh, okay. You know, it's like there's a big chunk missing out the middle.
Mhm.
And
everybody knew what it was.
Oh yeah, but I wonder if they were trying, by not really making a point of it, trying to get it past the censor. You know,
Probably.
Of course.
Yep.
But it didn't work because everybody knew anyway.
Yep. No way.
Yeah. I mean, because it is also sort of interesting that one of the things that they did seem to want to preserve about Sir Thomas More was his sense of humor, you know, and trying to
that's right.
cheer his family up, and then making jokes about it. Even it's like, oh, I'm gonna forget my head around here.
Yeah.
It's like,
Gosh.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some clever bits in it.
The woman whose papers needed returning and he couldn't do it, that's a sad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and because he recognizes what it is, and but he doesn't have that anymore. It is
No.
interesting though that we don't. I mean that even that this and also I mean in Man for All Seasons, you don't get the portrait of Sir Thomas More that he also did actually torture people. You know,
Oh,
as the way he's portrayed in Wolf
Yeah.
Hall and such, which is historically accurate. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yes, he's
and
always painted as a sort of cuddly old guy. Yeah.
yeah, he's
In
made
this
into
play,
some.
he wasn't able to save any of those people from the beginning of the play who got hanged.
Yeah.
it was
That's right.
one person who he wasn't able to.
Yeah. It was Lincoln was the only one who got
Yeah.
hanged. He
Yeah.
saved Doll in the nick of time.
Yeah,
Or at
because
least-
because she had the good sense to give a good long speech before she was
That's
executed.
right. And stop and kiss her husband and chat to him for a bit. That was all good. Very sensible.
She was able to do that because she was offering to go first.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's also it's a little bit sort of like Life of Brian, the
Oh.
crucifixion,
That life, what?
Yeah.
the Life of Brian, Life of Brian. Yes,
Yeah.
line on the left, one cross each. Yes, no,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go free. Let me go free. If you're going to let her go first, and you've hung him already, why don't you just not hang me at all?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Well, he does succeed in not getting hanged.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the scene with the people, the riotous people, we really didn't see the sort of thing that we actually saw on January 6th.
Mm. Yeah, well, I
I
mean,
mean,
it was.
now that we've all seen that with our own eyes, we know what it is really like.
Not nice. Oh,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, and people at the time knew of that because there'd been various sorts of uprisings, various things with even in Shakespeare's time of prentices fighting, as we see sort of portrayed here, and yeah, that it was a dangerous time.
Which is why the Queen set up Walsingham and why it was scary to live in London, because all you needed was your neighbour to piss off your neighbour and the neighbour would report you. And the next thing you knew, you were dragged off somewhere.
Mm.
Not
Yeah, no
comfortable.
rights.
Not comfortable.
What
Yeah,
is
no
your
rights.
background, Jennifer?
What?
The background you're using.
Oh, that's a picture I found online of just Tudor houses,
Of what houses?
Tudor style houses.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's very
I've
nice.
seen them in Princeton
Hmm.
or similar.
Hmm.
Would you be willing to send it to me?
Oh, sure.
Thanks.
Can do that now, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we're still live on YouTube. I guess I can stop it now. But we were sort of discussing the
The
play.
Yeah.